Jay Crawford.
I know a lot of people.
Adam the Bull. Garrett Bush. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah.
What's going on?
G. Bush in the captain's chair? Stop playing around with your boy. We got my man OG Brad in the building.
The Bookie and Bros.
Yeah, you know what we Bookie and Bros. I like that. Hey, you know, Bull will be back tomorrow, but since Bull is not here, we still got to handle that business. We still going to get to that better today, McNuggets.
He did. Bull set me in his bet of the day, and as always, Bull's bet of the day is brought to us by Bet Rivers. Hey, Ohio, Bet Rivers Online Sportsbook is the place to be for every single game. Right now is the perfect time to join Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you use deposit code SPORTS, you receive a second chance bet up to $500. Get in on all the action with weekly specials on your favorite sports like basketball and hockey. To help you win big, check them out at BetRivers.com. Download the Bet Rivers app today for the latest lines, odds, and boosts. Bull gave us 2 bets yesterday. One of his games was rained out. He won the other, so he's now just 2 games under 500. And today, Bull is riding with the Diamondbacks, getting a 1.5 against the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks are at home, Dodgers on the road. Bull likes the D-backs to come out on top in this one. Hey, G, it looks like we're missing something out on set. What's up?
I'm confused. Like, we usually had 3 or something, like the middle chair. Like, we need somebody to fill that chair, dog. What we got going on?
We called in a special guest.
Darkwing Duck?
Not Darkwing Duck. I know what you're trying to get me to say.
Well, listen, you know, we need to figure this out because, look, generally speaking, the Bookend Brothers can do it, but we need a little more flavor. We need a little something extra. We used to it. Having 3 at least talking, Brad.
Well, listen, look, man, here. You know, we could carry today.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we could, but we got some extra swag coming today. I mean, it's all kind of stuff in this building.
I think we got a person. Mike Polk, where you been at, dog?
Mike look like he came back from the moon. He's with the astronauts.
Mike Polk with the Top Gun onesie on. It snaps in the back. My man Polk.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. And I appreciate your concern about where I've been. I really do. I genuinely do. Now, as you can imagine, I've been gone for 3 months and I have quite a tale. I'll tell you what I've been up to. Have you guys ever heard of PCC airfoils?
Yeah, we've heard of them.
Yeah.
I think they do airfoils, the best airfoils in the game, right?
So, about 3 or 4 months ago, I realized that I was ready for a career change. I wanted to do something for me. I wanted to advance my career in a way that I had not seen up until that point. You know, I'm not getting any younger, guys. It was time to do something new, something for me. And that's why I went to PCCairfoils.com. It's not it. What is it? Yes.
Yeah, PCC.
PCC.
Thank you. And I looked into career advancement. I went to Minerva, the place where you train to become.
And East Lake, and
Yes.
Mentor,
The
and
place-
Wycliffe.
And I became the me that I was meant to be. I started on the assembly line, you know, making airfoils
For
and
$18
jet
up.
engine parts.
How much for Mikey?
Yep.
For $18. He was getting paid
$18 an hour.
for that.
I started at. I quickly advanced, needless to say. Next thing I knew, I was in charge of a shift.
Oh.
After that, I was made a corporate vice president. I don't know if that's a
You
term.
went from a shift to the corporate vice president.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
they said to me, Mike, you got the goods, you got the heat. Why don't you start testing these airplanes?
What?
So what I did was I started learning to fly. I said, I don't have a pilot's license. They said, not a big deal. They said, we've seen that you got the goods. We know that you can do this. And so I just started flying airplanes. I'm flying helicopters. I'm making sure that all the PCC airfoil parts are exactly what they promised to be. PCC airfoil, biggest manufacturer in Northeast Ohio, I think.
Facts.
And next thing I know, I am flying missions. I can't talk about it. I'm not stealing valor.
G14
but let's
classified.
just say that I took care of some stuff for the United States of America over the last 3 months. All right, I'm going to leave it right there. Can't talk about it any more than that.
So what's your gear?
So then I get a call from the producers. They say, hey, Mike, we need you. Everyone is sick. Nobody wants to come in. We couldn't get anybody else. Slider turned us down.
Nobody else?
Exactly. Swagger said, Swagger Jr., the mascot dog, said, not available. He's weaning, apparently, still. So I said, yeah, let me ask my bosses. I said to PCC, I said, hey, guys, I got to go see some old friends. They were like, Mike, you get in there because we believe in you. You've done enough for us. Get out there and make that show what it needs to be, and that's why I'm here today.
And so PCC, did they offer a PTO?
They did, yes. Okay, I'm actually being paid double time right now. I'm double dipping. You know what I'm talking about, Mayor. Right now, I'm double dipping. And they're just happy to have me representing the company. And I'm happy to be here with you, gentlemen. And, oh my gosh, I'm still wearing this. I didn't even realize it. I just wear it around now. I sleep in it.
Listen, that is a large, but it's like an extra large. Actually, it might be a medium waist. Actually, be truthful, you had clothes on underneath. That's crazy.
Well, you got to.
I can't have two layers.
Anyways, good to see you guys again. I'm happy to be here. Let's do some sports talk.
Polk, real quick, did the smoke machine work?
Oh yeah, hold on, Mayor. Hit that button. See if that's working.
He brought his own smoke machine.
Give it time. She just needs to heat up.
Yeah, let's just talk, and as let the aroma.
Let it happen naturally. There it is. It's coming.
Yeah, that we were supposed to get into that, man. Yeah. So McNuggets, we back in the building. Mike Polk is here. We got a great show coming up for you. Coming up in the second hour, we will get to Mo Williams. Jackson State's own Mo Williams. He was at Alabama State basketball coach. Played here a little bit in the
two little turns.
Two turns. Yep. Now, did Mo Williams? Did he win a championship?
NBA champion.
He won the championship in 16.
Yes, he did.
Okay,
he was one of 7 players to play in the rotation in Game 7.
We're gonna have to actually get to that. We'll talk to him about his second stint. Guardians. Listen, we gotta get to the Guardians. The Guardians 5-2, coming off another win. They won the first 2 series against the Mariners and the Athletics. Extra innings again. The Guardians is playing good ball. We'll talk about them.
Do you guys get frustrated though? Like I know how this show works at this point. Do you get frustrated that this Guardians team is? We'll talk about this. I know we'll get there. Is fantastic, and 5-2. They're fun. They're great to watch. But if we talk about Cam Newton allegedly, possibly wanting to come here, that people are more interested in this sports show on that. They would rather hear about the potential of Cam Newton, who hasn't played football in how long?
I think it's going on
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. 2 years. We'd rather hear about him being willing to come here as a backup quarterback than we would about this amazing Guardians team that's 5-2 and is exceeding expectations.
Well, I think we'll find out today when we talk about Cam Newton. We'll see with the needle moves.
That's weird.
But I'll say this: the Guardians. I'm actually more excited to watching the Guardians now than I was 2-3 years ago, just because of the momentum now.
Right.
The momentum is coming. You 5-2. You get into the break. We'll talk about that. I think tomorrow we're going to do some headlines, too, with the Guardians for opening day coming on Friday.
We got an hour and a half of Guardians tomorrow. We will get all your Guardians fixed in tomorrow, I promise.
Yeah, but first we do got to talk about Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Cam Newton. No, go ahead.
Oh,
what's he say?
That was what they was calling him in Alabama. That's what they was calling him.
Fair or not.
What Alabama Crimson Tide was calling him as a War Eagle, Cam Newton. But, Cam Newton, former NFL MVP.
G. Bush, can I set this up for you just because we got the soundbite? So if anyone missed it, this is not just us speculating. Cam Newton said he would like to come to Cleveland to be Deshaun's backup. He was on a podcast yesterday. We have the sound. Take tag board full, and you can play it. This is Cam Newton on who he'd back up in the NFL.
I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say in regards to my future in the NFL, and I wanted to set the record straight by saying this is how I feel. There ain't 32 guys that's better than me, but I also know that I could also be a backup, and I'm willing to be a backup. Players that I will back up. Number 1, I'll back up Deshaun Watson. It goes without saying, me and Deshaun Watson's relationship, he was on my 707 All-Star team I've grown to admire the person, the athlete that he is, going through a lot of turmoil, but I believe that's behind him. My number 2 person would be wherever Lamar Jackson decides to.
He went on to list some other guys,
Yeah,
but
about
the
10 of them.
first player, unasked, I mean, he mentioned like 15 guys he'd back up.
Yeah.
But the first guy he did mention, Deshaun Watson. G, take it from here.
Deshaun Watson, I think, it's kind of funny because, when you get a little older, it's funny how your generations line up a little bit. So he actually coached him in 7-on-7, played with him a little bit, knows him like from being a young guy. And now you come full circle and Cam Newton is the guy out of the league, trying to look for something to get into. And Deshaun Watson is the guy. I think, first of all, it takes a little bit of awareness to come to a conclusion. Look, I ain't about to start nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm not a starting quarterback, and I think
I was an MVP.
I was an MVP. I will back some people up some different places, but I think that takes a little bit of awareness. Like you telling yourself, like, because he says he's not worse than, or 32 guys aren't better than him.
Right. But G, you sitting here, G, and here's a guy that's coming to the realization that your place in this league is not where it was.
Yes.
So now when you say I want to back up, that means you're at a different pay scale here.
Yeah.
So now that's a message to all the other teams saying, hey, I'm willing to take less to do this thing here. Now he's picking people here that he named like 12, was it 15, Mikey? 12 or 15 people.
He named 14 people.
Right, and so it was. I mean, he had an extensive list. I mean, these weren't no scrubby places he was going. Right, he was going to places. Right. These were high volume places with high volume people. Could high volume go down? Right.
Right. Okay.
So when I say Cam Newton as a backup for Cleveland, it's intriguing. But I will tell you this: there's 2 trains of thought.
Okay.
You got your number 1 guy who you is a reclamation project, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to bring anybody in here to stunt that, because when you're looking over his shoulder like, because in his town or any other town, if it starts to go south, they screaming for the backup guy, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to damage your guy. So it depends on how good your number 1 is. If your number 1 can take a guy like that behind him, then, which I think led to the comments that he just said there, I'm not no threat to you. I mean, you was on my 7-on-7 team. I've grown to admire you, right? So he's trying to set the table for that to occur. But it really depends upon, Mike, what the team is willing to take on, because my number 1 project is getting my number 1 guy back to the status where I paid him this money.
Sure.
And if this is going to be an impediment to that happening,
but could it be something that motivates him to getting back to that level? I don't know. I just know this. First of all, if you're ever going, essentially what he just did was a national job interview, and you never go to a national job interview wearing that hat. You don't go to any job interview dressed like that. There are people looking at you, and you're trying to be taken seriously, and you're dressed like a character from the movie Clue or something like that, where you've got like an elaborate headgear on and stuff like that. That's not appropriate.
Remember the game Old Maid?
Yeah.
Well, you had Old Maid, and then the hat came.
that hat is part of his shtick.
I get it. But that shtick is better when you are an MVP and not somebody saying, I'm willing to back up Mac Jones. You know what I mean? Like, you can have that swagger when you're an MVP. Having that swagger as a Brian Hoyer level quarterback at this point doesn't make any sense, is my point. If he's going to be humble,
so now
if he's going to acknowledge
Cam Newton is Brian Hoyer now?
No, if he, I'd rather have Brian Hoyer.
Hoyer just signed a 2-year contract.
Man,
I know, there you go.
Get out of
Cam
here.
Newton is
Cam
Newton is not signing
Go
any.
move to town with Hoyer. If I got to choose between Hoyer and Cam Newton, it ain't no comparison.
Well, if anyone,
stop playing with me.
Do you think anyone's giving Cam Newton a 2-year contract right now? As a backup?
If you want the real truth, there's a lot of things going on here, right?
Okay.
So Cam Newton is better than a bunch of people in this league.
Sure.
Right? So tell me why Cam Newton's not in the league now.
He should be. You're right. I don't know the specific reason.
Right,
what is it?
Tell me that Brian Hoyer is better than Cam Newton.
I don't believe that either.
Oh, okay.
But I don't believe that. At this point, would you rather Cam Newton or Brian Hoyer? Who do you believe more in coming off the bench to back up?
I'll give me Cam Newton. You know why? Because here's the thing. You look at what Stefanski's already done. Stefanski brought in, Jacoby Brissett to sneak the ball. He would bring in Jacoby Brissett short yardage. Well, listen, what bigger person to bring in? A 6'5", 6'6" guy, dude, 250. He can sneak. You got a goal line package for him.
Do we know he can still do that? I mean, you might as well bring in Bull at that point if you're looking for a reach across the goal line.
No, I think Cam Newton.
Can he?
Yeah. Take Cam Newton.
Cam Newton can still run the ball. His last 2 years as a quarterback, his passing numbers, and I love Cam, are absolutely atrocious.
They're horrible.
Trash.
They're horrible.
No, horrible. I think, all jokes aside, I think when you look at Cam Newton ain't been right since the shoulder stuff.
Right.
Yes.
When he's throwing, he kind of shot puts the ball. He don't have that much velocity on it. His accuracy was really never like the biggest thing. However, if you want to say, if you in a playoff chase, and this is what I'm thinking, the Browns are in a position where if Deshaun Watson is playing well, the last thing you need is Deshaun Watson to be out 2 weeks, and you need 2 winnable games, and you don't get them, and you fall
So
short.
let me tell you what the role of the backup is, right? Because the backup should never be in the forefront because he's just an insurance policy. If I'm down the stretch, right, one of the key things of a backup is this: does he bring calm to the group, right? I'm not throwing no Josh Dobbs in there, right? Right? You know, he intrigued people during the preseason, including me last year, right?
Yeah.
When I'm in the stretch, I need somebody who can command the huddle, command the locker room, right? Cam Newton still has that ability.
Does he?
I see people flock to him all the time,
They
right?
talk to him. The press talks to him. The media gets excited because he has a name.
I'm not talking about the media. Look at the people that follow around with Cam Newton, right? You better dig under the surface here, right? His skill level has eroded from the day he was the MVP. Right. My thing is, can he hold me down for 2 weeks? That's where I'm at.
Polk,
Yeah.
do you think it would be a distraction? And I don't like to use the word distraction a lot, but like you said, Cam Newton has a name. Do you think Deshaun Watson is able to leave that name alone and play his game?
Here's the nice thing. Everybody is saying, like, oh, it might be a distraction if you had him in the quarterback room. I don't think there's that's the least of my worries. I'm worried about diminishing skills. I don't mind him distracting. We're going to distract away from our other quarterback situation? This is a good distraction. Like, I would rather have people talking about Cam Newton's past and possibility than I would talking about our current starting quarterback, Deshaun Watson. Like, if those are your 2 quarterbacks and people are talking more about Cam Newton and can he do it, that's less people talking about Deshaun Watson, like, is he still doing it? Is there a problem? Is everything okay? So I'm saying this is an example of adding a distracting quarterback to the team could actually be helpful because it's a worse distracting problem than your original quarterback's problem. So I'm not worried about the distraction, is what I'm saying. That's not the worry. The worry is the guy, he's washed. That's my worry. That's my worry.
Legit. Let me say this. So Mike has a valid point to that about his skill set, right? The problem is when you are the difference between good and great in any professional level is this: your confidence level. And it's the easiest thing to get dinged and the hardest thing to recover once it's gone, right? And that's where Deshaun Watson is. That's why I talk about the reclamation project. He's got to put in this work here. Now, if Cam Newton or anybody like Cam Newton is going to be a distraction to that, there will be no general manager worth his salt that won't consider that and be like, I might want to do it, but it depends. So you have to have your ear to the ground and know how fragile your guy is, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. When I was coming out, the year I first tore my first ACL, I was the #1 recruit at OU. I was like, oh man, listen, it's OU. I'm nice. I tore my ACL, and they started getting dudes from Florida. I said, hold on. Where you get this recruit?
Right.
Dimitri Taylor came in. I'm like, he was a linebacker. They said, we're going to move him to defensive, and this is the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, it hit me. I'm like, wow. Not only am I rehabbing, trying to get back to where I'm at, but this dude, I'm looking at him, I'm going to go watch him run. I'm like, man, this dude kind of
coming up behind you.
This dude can lift too. This dude kind of strong as me. But
right.
So when you have those things going, now instead of just having a clear headspace and going out and do what you need to do, sometimes it's difficult because now you see another dude behind you. And Cam Newton, for better or worse, Cam Newton ain't never going to be shy. Cam Newton is who he is.
That hat proves that.
He got the bird nest.
He's got confidence.
Bird nest Cam don't care about nothing.
Right.
If you ask Cam Newton, could you win a game? And that's the thing about being a backup. See, Jacoby played it so well.
Yeah.
Jacoby said all the right stuff, McNuggets.
Yep.
He said all the right stuff.
Just here to make this team better.
And so, whatever Stefanski.
Whatever I can do to help the team.
Go ahead. What you got, man?
This Browns question I'm about to ask is brought to us by Lincoln Electric. Lincoln Electric now hiring for great jobs. They are leaders in the manufacturing and welding efficiency facilities. Check them out, Lincoln Electric.
Love Lincoln Electric.
My question for you guys with this Watson-Dobbs debate here, and I think you guys nailed it. His skill set has diminished, but he is still a former MVP, taking a team to the Super Bowl, has proven he does have the ability to win a game or two.
Mm-hmm.
So did Dan Marino, but don't put him on your team right now.
So just say this year, I'm going to be hypothetical. I'm curious how you guys feel.
Okay.
Let's say Watson rolls his ankle at some point, and he misses 2 games. Who do you, well, 3, just so it's an odd number. Hypothetical, hope it doesn't happen. Who would you feel more confident has the ability to lead the Browns to a 2-1 record through that stretch as currently constituted? Cam Newton or Josh Dobbs?
Cam Newton by far.
Yeah,
By far?
By far.
I had to say Cam Newton.
And I say this, Mikey, and I'm not, I like Josh Dobbs. You know I do.
Yeah.
Right?
You liked him last year.
I like him last year.
wanna give him up.
But I did see Josh Dobbs in that game last year where he fell apart. And I was like, oh my God, they needed you that day.
Right.
And he was MIA. He
Mike,
went MIA on him.
Mikey,
so
show me the last game that Cam Newton performed well. How long ago was it?
Well, over the last 2 years, so he started 20 games. He started 15 in 2020 and 5 in 2021. He did not play last season.
Right.
In those last 2 seasons, he has a 7-13 record.
Right.
He's thrown in 20 games, so more than a full season, has thrown for 3,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions.
Yeah, but you playing
in
with
20 games.
you playing with a broken down Carolina and a defunct Belichick crew.
He
up
sounded
in
like
New
some
England.
excuses to me.
No, it wasn't
No,
no
I'm
excuses.
just
I mean, the
presenting
team
numbers.
was
I'm just
Carolina
presenting
team wasn't no
numbers.
good. That's the truth.
That's true.
That's true. And Belichick's team was in a major rebuild, right? So it
Okay,
wasn't like
still a Belichick team.
it wasn't like he wasn't armed with the best of the best.
I think when you look at Cam Newton, what I look at in Carolina, there's a game that sparked. You said, what game did he play well? There was a game, I think, in his first game back with Carolina.
That was tough.
I think he scored 2 touchdowns on the ground.
It was on the ground.
On the ground. He hit some check down stuff. See, here's what you got to take in consideration too, is the team around him. If I got Cam Newton coming in here and it's Amari Cooper and it's Nick Chubb and it's Njoku and it's all the weapons that you got in a good offensive line, you see, Kevin Stefanski can always revert back to the Stefanski playbook. There you go. Here you go. A little play action, a couple boots.
Couple dink.
And you tell Cam, listen, if you ain't got it, pull it down, take what they give you, and keep it pushing. So I think you got to look at that as well when it comes to him being a backup quarterback. What are you asking him to do?
Mikey, last good game.
I got your answer. And this is a tale of 2 games back-to-back. In 2021, Week 11 against Washington, Newton completed 21 of 27 passes for 189 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed for 46 yards, and scored a touchdown.
That's what we need.
He's got
The
that.
following week, the very next week, Week 12, he went 5 for 21 for 92 yards and 2 interceptions.
How old is Cam Newton, Mikey?
Right now,
Yeah.
5 and
Cam
21.
Newton is about to turn 34.
Yeah, when you get older and I don't care what professional sport you play. When you get older and your skills start to diminish, you're gonna start to being like the Dow Jones. It's up one day, down the next day, right?
Yep.
My question: if you're looking for a guy that you feel like your guy gonna go down, he gonna be out for long periods of time, he may not be your guy. But a guy that can lead you in a short
Come
period
in,
of time,
help you out for a minute.
that's what you
But
get.
you also might get that second game.
yeah,
That's
but
the
you
problem.
might. That's the problem. But
Whereas with somebody like
but-
Josh Dobbs,
but
you might have at least you'll know what you're getting.
Josh Dobbs has done nothing.
No, you're right. I'm not on
Nothing.
the Josh Dobbs
I'm not here.
bandwagon.
I'm in a 2 to 3 season opportunity here with the Browns,
Yes.
right? So I cannot cast my lot with a guy I don't know what I'm gonna get. Right?
How much?
This is not San Francisco.
How much are you willing to pay him?
Here's the thing about Cleveland. I don't know what I'm willing to pay him. I mean, veteran minimum. But Cleveland sports fans are so enamored by hearing a name that is willing to come here. It's still sad. It's part of our insecurity. we hear about somebody who's like Cam Newton. I remember him. He had an MVP year, and he's willing to come to Cleveland. Maybe we're doing all right. It's sad.
You're right.
But that's the vibe right here. I mean, how many quarterbacks would you rather have backing him up right now?
Yeah.
But we are talking about this because a guy who has a reputation, who has like a good history, is willing to come here, and so we get all excited and we're like, is he really going to come to Cleveland? He likes us. He might come. We're his number one choice.
Baker was available. He was out there.
Exactly.
He out there.
Right.
He'll take a backup role.
We're falling into this trap that we always do, and it's fun. It's charming. It's part of what we are as Cleveland
There's
sports
not much
fans.
out there.
And that's what
likelihood of it happening, I would put it less than 10%.
I got no problem with him being on the.
He sprayed the entire. He sprayed a third of the NFL.
Shotgun.
Right.
Pow.
Like
Yeah,
I'll go to here. I'll go here. I'll go with this dude.
You know.
But the people that he was going behind, guess what they were?
Right.
They were high. They were all high volume usage
mobile
people.
guys.
So the
Mobile
chance of
guys.
them going down.
Yeah, and he pretty much just said like, I'll go anywhere but Houston.
Right.
Thank you. Bye everyone.
And then he gonna say, "I'm gonna go anywhere Lamar Jackson."
I'll follow him.
Lamar Jackson has to be looking like, listen, bro, I'm trying to get mine off right now. Like I'm trying to get me a contract.
I'm part of his contract.
But Bush,
That's what he said.
but G. Bush, you see, all those are high volume people that can go down in a minute.
Right. Listen, he talk about Justin Fields.
I saw that.
Let me guess, you want to go to Arizona too? You want to be behind Kyler Murray?
That right there, that should tell you everything you need to know. Him saying, "I would die to back up Justin Fields." That's where he's at in his career.
I saw that. I was like, I just started laughing.
He crazy.
We're going to pivot to the Guardians. I will say this, though. As much fun as Cam might be in Cleveland, they did sign Josh Dobbs to a fully guaranteed $2 million deal. So
How many years?
Just 1 year.
Oh,
$2
yeah,
million.
yeah.
Ain't no money.
But he's getting guaranteed money, which means you ain't paying $2 million for your third string. So it's highly, highly unlikely that Cam Newton will end up a Cleveland Brown. What is likely, the Cleveland Guardians wrapping up a West Coast road trip with a 5-2 record. First place in the AL Central as they head home for the home opener on Friday. G, I'll let you start here. Overall takeaways on a 5-2 road trip.
Listen, first of all, the takeaway that I got, man, talk about your boy Crow. How you just, like, he hits every single day now. Like, the Guardians is funny. I'm going to have to, and we kind of just going to have to just give it to them. We just going to have to give it to them. They find a way to continue to get wins, even though we tell them all the time, you ain't getting no bats. You traded the wrong people. You didn't have the right mix. When we going to see this young dude? And they continue to come out every single year, and they find a way to get it done. Yeah. Jose Ramirez is a hitting savant. I mean, he looks like he's out of shape. He looks like he can't run fast. He looked like he shouldn't even be a baseball player.
He's 4'9",
and he just continues to hit the ball all over. And Miles Straw. Now I call him Crow because of the straw, but Miles Straw. This dude got a bat now. Yeah. You've been working. Let me find out you've been working on your game. This dude is hit safely, I think, in pretty much every single game.
He keeps the thing in play.
He's doing it. And let's talk about the stolen bases, by the way. I think he got 5 stolen bases. Mm-hmm. So when you look at this was a position that we were not expecting to get any production from, but you're getting production from there. You're getting Quan that hasn't regressed. Yep. You're getting everybody is pretty much hitting the ball except for Bell at this point.
Yeah.
And even Zunino, who's been a little shaky behind the plate, more than shaky behind the plate, is hitting the ball well. So to me, Mike, I just think these guys, again, come into the homestand, and you got a lot of excitement around the team who just continues to plug away.
Those stolen bases are like a weird aspect, like a byproduct of that pitch clock. I really do believe that. Pitchers are so freaked out. They're in their own head. They've been like not having a pitch clock for their entire lives of playing baseball, which is the only thing they've ever done consistently. And now they've got that going on. And now they're like, oh yeah, and there's a guy over there. Like it's a nightmare, which is great for us and great for Miles Straw and great for all for all of our bases.
At some point, you're right though, because at some point that's gonna, it's like the shot clock, right? I don't even know it. I only aware of it in the last 10 seconds, right?
Right.
Yep.
So the pitchers are going to a point where they don't even see it, right? They're going to feel when they need to
Yes.
In the final 8 seconds.
And they might adjust. They'll adjust halfway through the season.
They're going to adjust this.
But right now, it's like a free-for-all.
Yeah,
Anybody
right
can
now
steal
it's a
any
free-for-all,
base.
right.
So get in there.
But I will say this, though, Mikey. I am happy about the reduction in time. Oh my God.
Listen.
Because the pitch clock keeps the game down.
And the
pitch clock keeps the game down.
As a casual dude, see, G. Bush don't know baseball. That's what y'all tell me. G. Bush
That's a
don't
good
know
t-shirt.
baseball.
G. Bush don't know baseball.
I'm going to give me a sign, too, that say G. Bush don't know baseball. But here's the thing.
Hold that at a Guardians game.
The fringe guys like me, this is the best thing that you could have done for
No
your
question.
game.
Yeah.
Because I've watched every single Guardians game. These run times is an hour 57, 2:05.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's no longer like when you watch a
3
baseball
hours, 3.5
you
hours.
like you could be flicking through channels. I would find
Better.
I'm like, Malcolm X is on. Denzel is on again.
Yep.
I'm gonna watch that. All of this throughout the game.
Click back. Game still at 7
Game
Still
in the
same at
seventh.
bat. At bat.
These
Guy's walking out of the batter's box. He's calling his wife. He's like, "What are we having for dinner tonight? What are we having for dinner? Is that all right, sweetheart?"
strapping the wristbands,
That's it, yep.
getting in here.
I was doing some research for the home opener tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously not from Cleveland. They played a 16-inning game
Oh,
a few years ago.
Yep,
home
I
opener.
remember that. It was
5
miserable.
hours
I was
and
at that.
27 minutes.
How
I
long
was
was
at
it,
that.
Mikey?
5 hours, 27 minutes.
Oh, no.
That is the entirety of a work shift for me
Yeah.
at Channel 3.
That's unacceptable.
Probably more, frankly.
There's no need.
There's no
Can't.
reason to have a
can't.
game like that.
Yeah.
And to be truthful, some of the the diehards, they're like, oh,
purists.
this is too slow it's going too fast for me
purists.
now. The purist is like, I'm like, look, bro, that's the best thing y'all could have did because it's not the people that are the purists and diehards that's gonna keep your sport alive. It's the dudes like me that's like, well, I'm gonna watch them if they good, and I want to see the project on the field. So now you look at it, the games is crisp, runners is on in position. There's more guys on the base paths. Guys are moving around. And by the way, it almost seems like fielding is like all the routine stuff that you used to have time to catch. I've seen more errors and more balls and miscommunications than I've seen in a while in the outfield and the infield.
Well, you stop the shift and all this
All
other
the
stuff.
shift
Now you
stuff,
gotta- Now you got to play straight up now.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like old school. Straight up.
I have pitch clock thing. That's my final thoughts tonight. If we get to that, and we don't run out of time. But I will say this: what's exciting about this Guardians team is the fact that they are still magical from last year. I was worried about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And especially coming into this home opener, like we've all been there for the beginning of the season where right now at the time the Indians are coming back and they're like 2-4 right now coming into the home opener because it was stuff went south, whatever happened, and you don't have that same vibe. You're hopeful. You want it to go well, but at the same time, now they're coming back and they are already proving that whatever they had last year can sustain and has sustained through this year. Because that was we were scared of that. I mean, this was a team that no one expected to do this last year. So, everybody was calling the Guardians to be, under 500 last year, and then they surprised everybody. And we were like, was this a fluke? Was this just an anomaly? Did everything hit right? And then you come back into this year and sure enough, here we are 5-2. And so it's exciting just to see that this seems like it's going to sustain.
And what they do, and you get a chance to see Arias, right? He's either gonna play shortstop, Jimenez is gonna play second, and their platoon, he's the infield platoon guy. He's playing third, he's playing second, playing shortstop. He's showing he got some power in his bat. So when you look at a guy like him, you can see how they're setting it up. Rosario's going to be a free agent. And the thing about the Guardians, they got all these mismatches of talent as far as the second baseman and shortstops are concerned. You're set up in a place where now, even if you at the trade deadline, you can move one of them in middle infielders. And they highly touted prospects. And I will say this too. Quan is my new favorite player.
He's amazing.
He's
so fun.
He's the new favorite player.
Yeah,
for
he's
me.
great.
I saw him hit a ball yesterday that was up and low-key in, and just the fact that he's able to get his wrist and his arms in position to hit the baseball at certain angles is crazy.
Yeah.
He hit this baseball opposite way. He hit it down the left field line. And look at that. How you get your wrist in place like that?
I know.
Do you know who
That's a
he
great
reminds me
shot.
of in a weird way? Now, it's not apples to apples. The guy I'm going to reference is a righty. Quan's a lefty. They play very different positions. But his ability to turn inside pitches into opposite field singles is very Derek Jeter-esque.
Yeah, he just slaps it. Good speed, still bases. I just love.
Credit
I watch
to Quan. More credit to the Guardians management for finding Quan. Nobody saw this coming last year. We didn't know what we were going to get out of Quan last year, and he's been he's been an all-star for the last year. And so it's just it's amazing that he's been able to sustain this.
I think is really cool too, is the Guardians do some innovative stuff, like in terms of their lineup, in terms of scouting and finding gems, right?
Yeah.
I think I can't get over this. I think the coolest thing in the world is they just turn their tickets into like an app. They're like, look, $49. If you wanna just subscribe to the Guardians, come on to the park, and you just post up and go anywhere you want.
You want to stand in the outfield?
Like you want to
with
post
your back
it
to the game?
And think about it. I'm not gonna in April and May. I'm not. These places ain't gonna be sold out. Like, are they going to be looking extra crazy for these tickets? You could be sitting very close at some of these games.
Be sitting in those Jay Crawford seats.
Some Jay Crawfords, they be like, dang, Polk, Polk done made it.
Look where he's at. You can scoot down there.
By the dugout.
Yeah.
I think the $49, like between those, the all-you-can-eat seats, I could go buy me some. I can get all the food I want and still get a good product for $49 a month. And you can go to every single game if you want to.
Yep.
You fool the hell out of a day.
You heard it right here. Local sports luminary Garrett Bush encouraging people to cheat and move up closer than their tickets allow them to do. So I appreciate it. Very Cleveland. Very Cleveland.
Hey, baby girl, come on. I got these. I got
these
$5.
Got these $5 hollers.
$5.
Our seats are right up there where those people just left.
Pointing imaginary people.
on up.
Ha ha, my man. Joe.
There he is.
Yeah, man. Listen,
Hey,
man.
Chief.
I was down here the other day, man. I tell you what, me and Jose Ramirez, I was just talking to him before bat practice.
Just a reminder, WKYC is the Channel 3 upstairs. They have the home opener tomorrow. So watch the home opener on WKYC, not exclusively, but watch it there preferably. And we're doing a pregame show at 1 p.m. and I'm on there. They're going to send me down to the field so that people can yell at me. And I get to have people yell at me live. So if you want to watch me be uncomfortable live on television, watch WKYC tomorrow going into the...
We'll be locked on right after we get out.
We'll be locked on, and Jay Crawford will be joining us from opening day at Progressive Field tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Real quick before we move on to Cavs, the Guardians will honor John Adams with a patch on the jersey on opening for the home opener, Friday. Travis and Donna Kelce will also throw out the first pitch.
Is that Pat's season
both
long?
of those two situations.
Is that Pat's season long?
You know what? I'm not positive. I'll look it up. While you guys go, I'll look that up.
Yeah, I would hope that would.
Assume it is, though.
I hope that's season long. Let's transition to Cavs a little bit.
Wait, real quick, before we do it.
Go ahead.
Thoughts on Kelce throwing out the first pitch?
Oh, well, listen.
Yeah, come on. You got to give me that.
I mean, they might. Listen, I'm about to start the rumor that Travis Kelce actually want to play in Cleveland, too. You know how we
Right.
Is Megan coming with him?
Listen, hey, look.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you. Hey, bring her on right on with you.
Is she
bro.
coming?
I just love that. I love that Travis Kelce's brother lost the Super Bowl, so he doesn't get to throw out the first pitch.
Right.
I like that his mom's like, "No, you stay home."
Yeah, that is right.
You disappointed me.
You didn't bring his brother. Well, he
can't hang out.
Megan got to come. Right?
Yeah, Megan got to come.
Exactly. No, that's cool. It's great. That's
Take
cool.
your choice.
Hey man, I don't understand. The elephant in the room is this: like, how is Travis Kelce mixed? His mom has to explain. Yeah. You got a country farm dude, and then you got another dude who is literally like, he's just like, he might be biracial inside. Like, he wears jewelry, he dances in the end zone after scoring touchdowns. You know they don't like white people.
I know that. I know.
And you hand the ball back.
I'm well aware.
You act like you've been there, Mike.
Yep, I know.
The Heights, man.
I get it, man.
He's like, I'm from Heights. I'm about to do all of it. And I'm about to get that off. So, shout out to Travis Kelce. and his shenanigans.
But
too.
Mikey, the John Adams thing is cool. It is like, it's obviously nice. It's very Cleveland. It's nice for them to do that during the opener. It's a nice testament. And he is he does represent Cleveland in, I think, a very unique way. And in that, I mean that he bought that drum for $25 at a thrift store 30 years ago or something like that, maybe more. And he brought it to the game, and this was municipal days when you could just sit anywhere, obviously. And he said that he didn't want to bother people, so he took it out into the outfield and into the bleachers. So he didn't want to be next to somebody, because I'd be annoyed if this. Especially before you know who, John Adams is not established yet. Right. And this dude with a mustache comes and sits next to you with a drum. I'm like,
no, we're going to have a problem.
Of all the seats, that's not fun.
We're going to have a problem.
That's not fun. So he goes out to the bleachers and he sits out there alone. And I'm talking during the Corey Snyder days.
Oh,
he's out there just the Brooke Jacoby days. And he's out there doing that. And everybody's like, all right, have fun, whatever. At least something's happening. There's some sound in the stadium. And then he just hung in there and we embraced him. Not because he was a good drummer, because frankly, he was no John Bonham. He had he's like boom, boom. It's nothing that anybody couldn't do, frankly. He wasn't no one celebrated his skills.
Appreciate his dedication.
Yes, we appreciate his dedication through the worst of times. Through the most Travis Hafner of times.
Yeah. Wow.
And then we hung out and Cleveland loves somebody who hangs in there through adversity and sticks in there through the worst of times, and now it's nice that we are celebrating him. And I love thinking about the 19-year-old, 20-year-old players on the team from the Dominican Republic who were who are we honoring with this patch? A guy who played a basic rhythm on a drum for 30 years? But it's cool that they have to be a part of it too.
And I got your answer. They're wearing it this weekend, and then they're wearing it again on August 24th, which is the 50th anniversary of the first game he attended with the drum.
What about the seats? Are they preserving the seats out there?
I will get back to you on that one.
I would think that you got to give me some more than 2 patches.
Listen, I love look. You know me. I'm all about the gear. I love patches. If I could listen, I would. I didn't even want to be in the Boy Scouts. I just wanted the patches. Just listen. I don't know how to start a fire. I don't know how to cut no rope.
Were you in Boy Scouts though?
No. They don't let us go in the woods with no strange people.
You're lucky, based on my Boy Scout experience. You don't want to go in there.
So you're about to go to the woods with this grown man who teaches carpentry.
It's awkward.
Now look. No.
Yeah, it's awkward.
No.
But if you are a Boy Scout, congratulations. We love you too. You can be a member on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We're not knocking you.
Here's what the Guardian should do as a PR thing that would be really smart. John Adams had 1 seat.
Yeah.
He didn't often have company, but have those 2 seats, and those 2 seats should always go to a drummer. Any drummer from a band. Send a video of yourself drumming, and if you actually can hold a beat, then you get those seats for that game.
That's
crazy. How many
that.
home games are there? And then just always honor that area by having a drummer.
Was it 162?
That.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Every once in a while you have a celebrity drummer, that guy from the Black Keys or something like that. But most of the time it's just some local Cleveland drummer who can keep a beat. That's a nice PR move. Go ahead, Guardians.
That's slick,
Curtis Janberg, that's for you.
There's also a plaque on his seat in the outfield.
I like that.
Oh, good.
Well, let's see. We don't got no drummers at the Cavs games, but we will be watching.
Let's go.
At Rocket
What about the
Mortgage
cue
Fieldhouse.
sticks? Have you ever seen the cue sticks? They got
216
buckets and stuff.
sticks.
Oh yeah, now they're the 216 sticks because it's not the cue anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're the 216 sticks and they got buckets and stuff and they're going to hell on
In
them.
Loudville, we about to get that. By the way, I do think the Cavs really have a really good home court advantage. I think they got one of the best home crowds in the game.
People hate playing there.
It's
Teams hate
loud.
playing there.
It's raucous, but we're gonna get an opportunity to see tonight again. I think they play the Magic tonight, right?
They play the Magic, and before we dig into that game, I just want to let everyone know: Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, all sitting out tonight.
Should be.
Yeah.
That's just good.
Any problems with that?
It's the Chetty game. Let's go, Chetty.
It's just good politics now because
Yes.
you've already qualified for the playoffs, right? You got 2 games to finish out the regular season. These 2 games mean nothing, right? You don't want to take a chance of anybody getting hurt.
Got home court.
Right? And so this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? So you're preparing the guys. Anybody got any last-minute injuries, nicks, everything else, it's time to heal it up.
You'd be mad if you did see.
Yeah,
Donovan
I'd be mad.
Mitchell.
There have been a couple coaches, Mike, that have done dumb things like playing their starters in meaningless games and then somebody getting hurt, right?
Yeah.
So you got to play the odds here.
Yep.
Now,
I want Chetty, Isaiah Mobley, Neto. Is that his name? Neto?
Yeah, Neto.
Lopez.
I want him. I want those guys in there.
Yeah.
If Isaiah Mobley has a younger brother, I want him playing as a starter for the Cavs. I don't want to see anybody who could get injured in any way playing for the next 2 games.
Let me ask you guys this, because there's a little bit of a difference here. And I asked Bull this the other day on the show. There's times when LeBron was here where, like you knew the team was good. You knew either they was going to the Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals, right? This team, for the first time since Price, Doherty, Nance, and those teams, the team is good, but you don't know just how good they are.
We're about to find out.
What are your thoughts about that, Mike, in terms of what is your feeling about the playoffs? Is it apprehensiveness? What's your feeling when you think about the team?
I feel what everybody else feels. I feel what the common Cavs fan feels. I feel what NBA experts like yourselves feel probably. And
I ain't no expert.
All right, well, whatever. I just feel like we don't know. And we're going to have to wait and see what these people have. I do love that Mitchell has playoff experience. I love that he's got the dog in him that these other players would not have without him. He's got that extra gear. I mean, you see it, turning it on. And I love what JB did, amping up his minutes towards the end of the season, making sure that he gets his wind going into this. There's a reason that he had 4 40-point games in a row, and it's because he left him in there when he maybe didn't necessarily have to be in there, because he wants him to get up to that speed and get stoked like that, which I think is a really smart move. But we don't know how these other guys are going to gel around him. That's the question. I believe in him during the playoffs. That's why I think I'm excited about the playoffs, because of Donovan Mitchell's refusal to lose and refusal to give up through this whole thing, through this whole season, the regular season. He cares about these regular season games. So I'm excited to see but they need his leadership in these playoffs. They just don't, I don't feel like they have. Do you feel like they have anybody else who can lead them over the breach, Brad? Like who can be like, you guys follow me. Evan Mobley is never going to be like, guys, get on my back, follow me. Screw these guys. He's not. But you have Donovan Mitchell, and that's why we got him, is for these moments. That's why I have to watch the Thin Finn, Lauri Markkanen, lighten it up in Utah and stuff like that. And I'm happy. I wouldn't change it for anything. But we got to watch this guy averaging 24 points a game, and we sacrifice all of this. We sacrifice these draft picks because you have to have a Donovan Mitchell on your team at this point in the season. Through the regular season, it's okay, but right now it is necessary to have somebody like Donovan Mitchell on that team, and that's why I have faith in us, but I also don't pretend to know how it's going to go. Brad?
Well, I sit here now, I agree with Mike that Donovan Mitchell was brought here to lead this team because they had nobody here that was really prepared to do that, right? So you have to have a go-to guy down the stretch, and I think you can see at least in the last 4 games, why you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell here. I was a guy who had followed him in his career in Utah, and I knew what probably was coming our way, and it has materialized just as I thought it would. Second thing is here that we don't know how good this team's going to be yet, right? We know they're good. They've won 50 games with a chance to win 52, right? But as you look forward, we're only going to tell in these game contests ahead. Now, I'm going to tell people here, we'll be first to tell you, this 4-5 matchup with the Knicks is going to be tough. It's probably a 6-gamer. Yeah. Maybe a 7-gamer. It's not a 4-gamer. No, it's not a 4-gamer.
I wouldn't foresee 4 games at all.
Right. So this is a 4-5 matchup. Typically, I don't care where you're at, those are probably the 2 most even teams playing one another. So this thing should go a heavy stick, and I'm looking for some primetime games from TNT and everything else. You got New York playing in the finals. Playing in the opening round, right? Donovan Mitchell, the backdrop of him being close to from the New York area. So you got that going on. But I would just tell you what, you're going to need performances from Darius Garland.
Talk about it.
Somebody's got to step up. You're going
to need Evan Mobley, right, to play. This is where everybody's going to get checked. Yeah. Right? This is not the 82-game regular season. This is the games where I'm only preparing for 48 minutes, right? I just got to get out the day. I don't need to get out worry about 4 games down the road. Just got to get out the day to get to the next day, right? And this is where I can design things like, oh, you hurt me today? I'm taking all that away from you tomorrow.
Brad, when you were a young guy, like Evan Mobley, right? You know where he's been at. He's been at 15, 16 a game. Yeah. You know what he's giving you defensively. When you were a young guy and you had the established pecking orders of the guys that was going to step up, what is the mindset of a young guy in a playoff game to where do you think he has it in him to recognize I got a matchup tonight, or I feel it tonight, for him to turn on and say, guys, come on over here, come on down here because I got something going on. Is that something that he's able to do now, or do you think that might not be in him yet? That might be something he had to develop.
I think he's learning on the job, right? And the one thing I like about it, because I think one of the questions we were going to ask today was, what about his game? How does he get better, right? The one thing I like now is that he's doing things that he's comfortable with doing. Right? People think that he had to expand his repertoire. You don't have to expand nothing, right? Just do the things you do very, very well, and then add maybe a piece or two, and stop trying to be something you're not. Like, Evan Mobley's never going to be a guy to bring you off the dribble. He's never. And people say, why can't he learn to bring you off the dribble? Well, he plays straight up and down. He's too tall. He just plays straight up and down. He's not a guy that has grown up on the dribble, on the bounce. Like, I grew up on the bounce. I knew exactly what to do, right? He can't do that, right? And anytime you put him in that position, it's going to be very awkward for him. But when he's gotten better is when he's around that basket and just finishing around there with his inside moves, dunking the ball, playing that way, blocking shots.
Defense.
I said, that's when he's at his best.
Yeah.
Now, we'll grow some things from there. They go, well, he make a couple threes, but he not no three-point guy. He ain't Steph Curry. He'll never do that, right? Do what you do the best, right? And grow it from there. But when you start trying to do 1,000 things, so he's gotten better playing that way. Donovan Mitchell has gotten better because he's been steady. Garland has learned, you're not the closer here.
Right.
The dude is the closer.
During the season,
The closer is 45, and now he's starting to see why he's the closer, right?
So imagine going into this playoffs right now if we did not have Donovan Mitchell and we were just counting on the leadership of Evan Mobley, Lauri Markkanen, Darius Garland, people like that who are still on this team. That's why Donovan Mitchell gives us the edge, because Mobley's not going to be like, guys, follow me into the breach. Bless his heart. He plays his role. He knows his role. He's good at it. We can't expect anything more of him. We can't change his personality. The guy loves playing Rubik's Cubes and stuff like that. He's a juggler, apparently. Like, he likes doing that kind of stuff. Darius Garland wants to win. He's got that instinct, and that's what gives us the edge in this playoffs.
I tell you what, I like where we are. Right? I like how they position this team now. We're not very deep.
No.
We're not very deep.
Team Wade. Sorry, I just sneezed.
I said,
Brett, we'll get into those issues in a sec, but you touched on something I wanted to ask anyway, so I want Polk and G. Bush to get a chance to respond to that. But you were a guy who knew how to, as a big, to take guys off the dribble.
Right.
For Mobley to unlock that next step in his offensive game, which may not be able to happen with Donovan and Darius here controlling the ball as much as they do, but for him to take that next step and becoming a true unicorn in the league, do you think it'd be more beneficial for him to become a better three-point shooter, or to have some sort of game where he can attack off the dribble to kind of unlock the rest of his offensive potential?
So when you say attack off the dribble, I mean, are we talking about two dribbles and a pull-up? He's never going to be that. He's not that. You can get better at it, but he's not that. Either you have it or you don't have it. He's just not built like that, right? It's like me. I'm not built to be Shaquille O'Neal. I can't go down there and do what Shaq and them was doing down there. I might be the same size, right? But he can't do what I do. He cannot bring it off the dribble. That's not his strong suit. And you saw it early in the year. Every time they put him in that position, he looked crazy, right? He looked like he was learning on the job. And I was like, that can distract from your confidence. Right? And when he has gotten better, it's because JB and the staff has put him in positions to be better just doing this. And when he has done that, he has excelled. Right? Yeah. Now I still want some growth out of you. Yeah. But I'm not expecting you to do every little thing here.
So to me, I think incrementally, basically, dribbling a basketball is like driving a car, right? Sometimes you trust somebody to drive you to the corner store, but sometimes you don't trust nobody to drive overnight in the mountains of West Virginia when you're on a trip.
Oh no, yeah.
You like, hold on. Right. It's a level of experience that go with that. Like, are you tired? Do you know how to drive at night?
How many drinks have you had?
I'm gonna give Mike a comparison. This is for everybody listening to. Mike, you remember when Magic Johnson was at Michigan State and he was the 6'9" point guard, bringing up, and everybody had ever seen it before, right? And when he got to the NBA, nobody had ever seen it before. Do you know the NBA tried to find every 6'9" guy to be the point guard?
Right.
And it was like some horrific experiments.
It wasn't great.
Because either you have it or you don't.
And so to that point, you either have it or you don't. See, I don't need Evan Mobley to be able to drive the ball all the way down 90 feet and give somebody a move, a Euro step on somebody. What I need him to do is to be able, it's called continuous one-on-one. You got 3 dribbles. So I need you either hesitate, pull up. I need you to back down, shimmy.
Yeah,
I need you to.
that's it.
I need you to get a quick step. I need you to rip through and get through. So these are things that you can make your game better, because now if you can get to where you want to go in 3 dribbles, now it unlocks a lot of things. Now that jump hook, instead of having somebody all in your face from standing flat foot, now you got a little space. You create a little space. You got a little more touch. And one thing he has excelled at is finishing around the rim. I love the way he's never rushed. He never really brings the ball down. He pump fakes and utilizes the ball well. So he's always dunking and finishing that.
Where he can get good at is 15 and free throwing in, Mike, if he hitting jumpers, right, just unlocking that, doing that. I mean, because he has to create fear. Like, I'm going to shoot this
At least
ball.
the expectation that you might make
he might shoot this thing, right?
Yep.
He ain't going to be like they was doing Iowa versus South Carolina where one girl, Caitlin Clark, backing off the girl, like, go ahead and shoot the ball.
Yeah,
they ain't doing that. Right? So you have to be able to elicit fear out of people to unlock the other portions of your game.
He does need to get away from the three-point line.
Honestly,
Really, I did see this. He is, of the people who have taken the amount of three-point shots that he is like all-time 20th worst percentage shooting. He's at like 21% from three-point line. Is that right? Is that in there? Okay.
That is 21%.
That's not great. That is not a strong.
No, because he wasn't practicing, never jacked them. Right?
I know, so don't do that. We have either you have people who can do that, or learn to do it and then come back into the game and do it. You know, but doing it during this year, it's like, and I do feel like, I know this is the 3rd time I brought up Lauri Markkanen, which is the most he's ever been brought up on a sports show. But the reason that he is averaging like 24 points a game or something like this year is because Utah doesn't have a lot of options. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously the Cavaliers have options. So do you hinder the growth of a potentially amazing player by having a good team that has other options? You know, where he's not forced to be the nexus of that offense. You know, so that's the sacrifice you make when you have a good player on a good team. You might sacrifice some of his development because he doesn't develop that confidence. He doesn't have to shoot as many threes. Nope. He doesn't have the opportunity to shoot that much.
What we're looking for out of Lauri Markkanen, what we're looking for out of Evan Mobley is this: play well in this playoff run here. Let's see if you can, because he's gonna get pushed today. The New York Knicks front line is not bad, right? It's not bad at all.
Come on now,
right? They're gonna try to rough him up a bit, right?
Tibbs is gonna have him ready to go. They're gonna rotate.
I said so. This is where we're gonna see how much work you're gonna have to do this summer to get better.
Now to me the spotlight isn't really on Mobley, because as much as he gives you offensively, he's gonna give you top-notch defensive ability. So he's gonna bring his game to him, and Allen gonna bring what they bring. To me, it hinges on the $200 million man, Darius Garland, because now. You know what Mitchell gonna give you. Now it's about whether Darius Garland can figure out where his spots are. And sometimes he's going, like when you unlocked Kyrie Irving and LeBron, I went back and they'd be showing the old reruns. What made them so doggone crazy was like, it was just like they was relentless. Like LeBron was 40. Kyrie, 40.
Yeah.
And usually my turn, your turn don't be working. But at the highest levels, I've only seen it work 2 ways. I've seen Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas get it off. And I've seen LeBron and Kyrie get it off, where it's just like, oh no, you gonna have to, I'm a headache today.
Yeah.
So to me, Darius Garland still needs to actually walk a fine line, because most of Jared Allen, high handoffs, dump offs. I need to get Evan Mobley a couple shots. But when the 4th quarter comes, he need to be able to get his too.
Darius is gonna have his hands full, because Brunson is no joke.
Man,
this 4 or 5 matchup is gonna be nice. Brunson is no joke, and Brunson is hungry, right? Brunson has had playoff experience. He's hungry, right? So Garland about to see somebody here, right? Yeah. And you're gonna see him for 6 to 7 good games here, right? So. It is all about how you respond in these moments. So what you can say about LeBron and Kyrie, they responded. Yeah. When Curry and them pushed them to the limit, they responded.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to see. Now, what has also been known to happen, Mike, is you also can see people collapse here. Yep. So you don't want to be on the collapse side here.
I don't see Evan Mobley doing that, though. I don't.
No, I don't
I
see
think he's
Evan Mobley.
consistent.
No,
I
no.
think he's consistent.
It's the others.
Two things.
The ones that have not been tested.
But two things that need to happen to Evan Mobley, in my opinion, for him to reach the next level. One of them is he needs to fill out. He needs to go that Giannis route. Where remember when Giannis was like his first year, he looked like Tom Brady when he was drafted, like a skinny little high school kid and stuff like that. And now you look at him and he's just he's an Adonis. We need that jump to happen somehow physically, and some of that is just luck of anatomy, luck of genetics. We've just got to hope that all of a sudden Evan Mobley's like, oh my gosh, I'm huge now. That's one of it. The other thing is something terrible. I don't wish this upon you, Evan Mobley, but something pretty awful has to happen to him to inspire him and make him mean in some way. I don't know if it's got to be a John Wick thing. His wife has to pass away. Someone has to do something to his dog. He's got to get some dog in him. He's got to get mean. He does not have that right now. He's working on Rubik's Cubes too much. He's learning to juggle. We need something tragic to happen to Evan Mobley, but I hope it's not too tragic, but something's got to inspire him to get angry in some way, and I don't know if he has that in him ever.
I will say this. Mobley's skill set, I think he'll exponentially get better.
I think he'll be fine.
He'll be all right. I'm just excited to see what it is. And when you said they being in the Garden 6 games, man, I got chills a little bit. That's where it's at, man. That's where I want to definitely get to. I mean, let me ask you, do you have time to do the Caitlin Clark stuff now? I know we got Mo Williams coming up at 12.
Yeah, Mo's going to come on in a sec, so give me a second. We'll get a couple reads in here. We will definitely talk Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, but the clock has struck noon, which means it is officially the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, sponsored by Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. If you guys aren't members of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show yet, my only question is, what are you waiting for?
What's wrong with you?
For $1.99 a month, you get all the starter tiers perks. That's custom badges and loyalty emojis, member-only community posts. For $4.99 a month, less than $60 for the entire year, you get all those same starter tier perks, plus overtime videos. Today we're talking about the Browns cruise and whether or not you'd be willing to pay money to go on a cruise with some Browns alumni, some illustrious, highly notable ones, some other ones that maybe you never heard of. You get member shout-outs. You get put on a special text chain with Jason Lloyd and us for select Cavaliers and Guardians games. You get discount codes for merch and much, much more. If you haven't signed up already, make sure you do. And coming up in less than 2 weeks now, it is the Great Lakes Collectors Convention. The Great Lakes Collectors Convention, presented by Greeny Sports Cards, is taking over the Fieldhouse in Independence, Ohio, April 14th through the 16th. It's where the passion of sports fans, collectors, and sports talk enthusiasts collide. Over 50,000 square feet of ball card bliss, hundreds of display tables, plus live card shop theater with interactive appearances from some of the region's most notable sports media members, including G. Bush, Adam the Bull, Jay Crawford, and non-notable sports members like myself. Great cards, great location, great shows. Tickets on sale now at greenysportscards.com. And you can win some free tickets by heading to wkyc.com/contest. We're giving away 4 VIP passes for the entire weekend and 20 passes for free tickets just to get in general admission.
I went to
Check
that
it out.
actually last year.
How was it?
I appeared at that, and it was very cool. It was like neat. It was like you meet. There are a lot of people there. What's really cool is seeing like dudes with their sons and daughters there, bringing them around to get signatures and stuff like that. Like I know you know that vibe, but it was very like it's a very cool atmosphere, and we should go check it out. It's a good and they run it right. That's like it's not janky. They do a nice job.
It's not Bush League.
It's not Bush League. It's good. It's a good job.
We will be on the panel. Me, Mikey McNuggets, Adam the Bull, and my guy Jonathan Peterlin from over at the Fan. We'll be on a panel together. I think it's cool because there'll be not just us. There'll be all kind of radio stations, TV stations. Everybody will be there. It's a really cool event.
Those quiet dads from a diner will love you guys. They're gonna be so excited.
They're gonna have you know, sports talk people be having male groupies, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
The male groupies out of control.
Yeah,
they'll pull you over and do a show.
A lot of dads with ill-fitting jeans looking at you from the background. I know that guy. I've seen him. I know that guy.
G. Bush. I see G. Bush's back. There it is.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So Mo Williams is supposed to be on with us any second. As soon as he hops on, I'll let you guys know. But until then, we'll get into the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark situation. I don't even want to call it dilemma because it got blown out of proportion by a lot of the media. In my personal opinion, like I said Monday, I don't think it was a big deal. You talk the talk, you walk the walk. Caitlin Clark said she wasn't offended. G. Bush and Brad, I know you didn't get a chance to weigh in on this yet, so take it away.
Well, you know, I asked, I asked as soon as Brad came in, I said, yo, what if somebody, his daughter played on the highest stage, She was in the Elite Eight, ready to go to the Final Four. And I was like, what if somebody would have called your daughter a effing idiot? Yeah. And Brad turned around and said, "Oh no, it's on. Listen, he don't want no smoke." Brad, I'm gonna let you get at it. I thought it was crazy. Like I didn't understand where it all came from. Like
you know where it came
from.
This
People talk about like trash talk. That's part of the game.
So the trash talk is part of the game. That's not an issue because I enjoy watching Caitlin Clark play. She played Cheyenne a bunch of times. The last time they played, when Cheyenne beat them by 28, that's the last loss they took before they went on this little run to the Final Four.
Right.
We beat them by 28. And Cheyenne has covered her in the 3 games we played. Cheyenne, she only got off one good time, right? Mm-hmm. And so she only had 15 or 18 against us that game. Mm-hmm. And so Cheyenne's all over. And so they just talk stuff in between. She tells Cheyenne, we win by 28. She said, "Shut up, Cheyenne, I'm cooking you." Cheyenne like, "You cooking me? You got 15 and you lose by 30. How you cooking me?" Right? And it's just a part of the game.
Facts.
Nobody take no offense to it, right? And if you dish it out, you got to give it. Let me tell you, Larry Bird was one of the best trash talkers out here, right? I enjoyed it, right? Now, I got abused in some of it, but in some of it, I was like, oh, he come to play. I don't take no offense from him. I have a different perspective. So Angel played with Maryland. So Angel played with Cheyenne. So I know I like Angel, right? But that's who Angel is. Angel, like, she ain't back down from nobody, right? They said, well, why she leave Maryland? Because it wasn't enough room for everybody. Some people want to be the one to run the show.
Top dog.
They want to be top dog. Now, there was a number of dogs in Maryland, so it ain't enough room for everybody.
Bro, I didn't even know she was
right. So
it
was enough room here. So it wasn't about nothing else. Sometimes you have to branch out. But if you know Angel Reese, because you come from a good family, brother, great brother, mother nice, right? But that's who Angel is, right? And so I knew. So it was funny because all the Maryland people they weren't surprised at all. If you ever was in Angel Reese space, you never, this was like out of character. It's not out of character, right? And so the thing about it is, what happened is, and this is where the problem came in, people were offended that Angel Reese went at Caitlin Clark. Well, Caitlin Clark been going at people all year.
All year. I done watched her 7 games, and I applaud her for it. I love the way she played the game.
Wait, you watched all her games?
Listen, I watched 8 games of her. When she started, we was in here, Brad said, hey, that Caitlin Clark girl, she a monster.
She a monster.
I said, okay, well, let me check her out. Listen, she was hitting people for 40, 50.
I said, so the thing about it was, I don't think anybody was offended. I think the people who had never followed it was offended, right? She only was giving back what she was getting. I mean, getting what she was giving out.
Yep.
And I said, nobody take offense. What the problem was when people start weighing in from the outside, Keith Olbermann, I said, what is you talking about? You don't know nothing about nothing, right? I said, this is the game. And I think when really people got offended was when the First Lady was like, we inviting Iowa to the White House. You inviting Iowa to the White House? I said, what are you talking about?
That's the evolution, right?
Here's the problem in this country, right? We have to placate everybody, right?
Right.
Listen, we giving out participation awards and orange slices,
yep.
right? So you feel good. No, what happens is in a contest, there's gonna be a winner and a loser, and guess what? Somebody gonna laugh, and somebody gonna cry, and here the crying is not bad. It should drive you back to the laboratory to get better. It should drive you back like, I don't want to experience that anymore. What we try to do is circumvent that and make you feel good so you fall down. When you fall down, you land on a pillow. You ain't land on no pillow. You land on that concrete. So that way, when you hit the concrete, you know, I don't want to be on the concrete anymore, right?
Man, Brad, I tell you what, like, to me, I just was like, you know, nowadays, it's kind of a little bit more what you said. I think it's the outside people. What happened is a bunch of people saw you know, the women play for the first time. And the first thing that popped into their mind is, why is that girl taunting that girl, right? And they didn't know the context of what either you're a basketball fan or a women's basketball fan. Some people was not even really a basketball fan in general. They just now seeing it. But that just goes to show you how popular the women's game has gotten.
I told you where it was going.
This would not have been a story 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it would not have been. It just goes to show you that the women's tournament was better than the men's tournament.
So it's a good thing in a way because it shows that people are recognizing it at least and paying attention to it.
But
that they can get outraged about something.
So now Angel is a villain. Angel is not a villain. She is not a villain, right? She's not like that, right?
It's
now,
not a good.
Will she talk the talk? She'll talk the talk, but she's not a villain, right?
But so they painted her to be this thing, and I'm like, well, look, man, look. First of all, everything ain't for everybody. Let's be clear. Sometimes, if you're going to be a spectator, if you ain't in it, if you're not in the culture, you don't understand it, you might want to be educated and not go ask somebody, bro. But the way they play the game out there like that with passion, with heart, and trash talking, that's part of it. I don't believe, if my kid came home to me, like I done seen people play games where, hey, this kid is better than everybody. So they tell the kid he done scored 6 touchdowns. He can't play no more because Tommy and Jim and DeAndre over here can't tackle him. And all of a sudden he said, no. I tell my kid, look, hey, if you don't like what they doing, do something about it.
Yeah.
Work on your game.
Yeah, get better.
Stronger. Listen, and you come back next year, and then you could dish that right. Sometimes everybody ain't gonna hand the ball to the ref. Sometimes everybody they gonna express their way. Like what's the name we say? Like the mayor say, hey, elections have consequences. The winners go get the spoils. You write history when you're the winners. So if you want to be a winner, get out there and do it. And here's my only problem with what Keith Olbermann said. First of all, I'm 41. I don't believe that I would disrespect a young kid by using that type of language, especially if I have a large platform. And that's a young lady. I don't feel like you should be talking.
Getting your money off
on a young lady, college lady like that. Now, people say, it's just language, it is what it is. No, man. And it goes to show you that when he came back and said, I really don't even watch the sport like that. I don't even watch
that tacit
basketball.
Apology.
And I'm like, come on, bro. That's weak.
That's weak.
That's weak sauce. You shouldn't have really said it like that. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. You dish it out, you got to be able to take it as part of sports. And there's no winner or losers or whatever. But I will say this, though. If I was on the team, I still want to go to the White House. I still want to go to the White House.
Yeah,
I want to go. Angels, call the dogs off.
Because I was like this. I was like, Angel, you speaking for all the teams?
All of them.
Because everybody not going to get a chance to go to the White House.
I'm part of the team, too.
Let's be clear.
Slow down now.
I really want to. And she's like, we're going to hang out with the Obamas. I'm like,
slow down, big dog. Slow down, big dog.
Slow down, big dog. Here's the thing. Even with you, I told him yesterday, I said, Brad would tell his daughter, "Oh no, you're gonna go up there and represent.
Oh, you gonna go do that?
You're gonna go. Even if it was the opposite party.
Sure.
I'm still. People will say I'm declining to go up there when a certain somebody was in office. I said no. Listen, at the end of the day, it's respect for it's the office, it's not the person, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
And you get free McDonald's.
And then I will say this. So if people, I know you talk about the casual fan. If you did not know, the women's final and the Final Four was really the men's Final Four, right? It had more excitement. Mm-hmm. The viewers were off the chain. Yep. And for those who don't know, the Final Four is in Cleveland next year.
Yeah.
The women's Final Four is in Cleveland next year, right? That same energy here is going to be here again.
Weird note on that. The women's final is scheduled for the same day as a solar eclipse that's going to darken the whole earth. I'm not lying. Same day. April
Director
8th.
Steve just told me that exactly.
April 8th. There's going to be a total eclipse during the finals. It's just weird scheduling. Yeah. It's going to be biblical up in here.
So I would say this, the city of Cleveland, get ready.
You be ready.
Because for women's teams, they travel. Their fans travel.
Oh, good.
And I say,
that's great. Bring them in.
The one thing I found out in Greenville, South Carolina was when we were playing in the Elite Eight, right? Because we played on Monday night.
Right.
Restaurants would close at 9 o'clock. We're scrambling for food.
That's lame.
I like, Cleveland, please do not
don't have scrambling for food. I know you want to get into this, Mike. I got one thing about this. The controversy over this whole thing with Angel is the reason that it overloaded us as a society is because it's two things. It's both racial and gender based. Yeah. It's both about her being a woman and her being black. And that was and we're all so anxious to be outraged about. What are we outraged about? Which is it? Somebody pick it out. but it's not that easy sometimes. You have to draw it out. No, everybody said, hey, what about this Caitlyn chick? She did this. Most people hadn't seen that. You know what I mean? But they were seeing this because we're a little further in the tournament. The thing is, I really do feel like, and I feel like this is more gender-based than racial-based in this case. Trash talk has gone back. You brought up Larry Bird.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Classic.
and I know, and trash talk has been celebrated through sports for a long time. Muhammad Ali, famous trash talker, said that Sonny Liston was too ugly to be the world champion. You know what I mean? Like, he was doing this stuff. Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton talked smack on each other before the duel. Smack talk, trash talk goes back forever. We get uncomfortable when we see women doing it. Because we're like, ladies, you're supposed to be above that. You're supposed to be better than us. You guys are supposed to rise above. That's what we say. You're supposed to be polite. We want equality across the board, except we also want you to be ladies and more proper than we are in a way.
Well, Mike, all that went out the door with Twitter and Instagram and all that. That's gone.
Tell that to the people who are not on Twitter, though, who are complaining.
No, the same ones complaining. Be on Twitter, because when I look up, they got Twitter accounts, and they got IGs and everything else.
But the people who are complaining are the old school people who want women to be quiet and be nice and be polite and stuff, and they expect things from women that they don't expect from men.
I want to just say this, so Angel Reese is from Baltimore, right? They love her in Baltimore, right? And they feel like, and Baltimore has a complex like Cleveland, right? Yeah. That they're disrespected all the time, and when they celebrate people from Baltimore, they celebrate. Right. That's why they follow the Ravens like they do, right? Because it's their thing. Angel Reese is their thing. So if you go over to that part of the country, they love it. They love it, right? Yeah. They're like, because she represents Baltimore here.
And the crazy part about it is, if you look, a lot of black people really watch Caitlin Clark, and a lot, because of the way she plays.
Oh, she be balling.
She's
she be balling.
So, like you said, there's a lot of different things that are mixed up into it.
It's a confusing controversy because of all the aspects.
I'm cooking you. You cooking me? What?
All right, what we got, Mike?
Listen, when I play ball one-on-one, I'm talking trash to ball. I don't care. It's just part of the game. It's also 12:15, which means it's a perfect time to remind you guys that the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show's Lunch Hour is brought to you by Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. We have left 2 voicemails to Mo Williams. He said yesterday he agreed to come on at noon. He has not joined us yet, so we're going to go along.
Man, getting ghosted by Mo Williams.
Tough.
He's
tough
running a
Hopefully he's going to pop
program.
on. If he does, we will bring him in immediately. But until then, we have a new game we're going to try out today.
Oh, yeah.
Brought to you by Mr. Polk.
Yeah, let's do it.
Mike, we're going to take the comedy music, the game show music. And
are you doing something in there? You're doing that? Okay, good. Great. This is a game, gentlemen, that I think you guys are going to be good at, personally. This is a game called Cavs You Forgot Were Cavs.
Okay.
Now, you guys, here's what's unfair about this.
Okay.
All right.
Frankly,
let's go.
This would be a better thing to do with people who are not you guys.
Right.
Because you are a professional sports talker who is ingrained in the Cleveland community. You literally played in the NBA with many of these people.
I forgot.
So it's not, you guys are a little bit biased. But you guys are a little bit biased. In any event, this is more for the audience at home. Okay. So you guys, I want you to try and guess based on the facts I'm telling you about these previous Cavs. Now, here's what I want you to know about this game. These Cavs that I'm bringing up, are you playing music or am I not hearing? I got it.
No, we'll play the music.
No, let me do this. Okay, so here's what I want you to know going into it, though, is that these players, they're not the best Cavs that are best, like the biggest names necessarily or anything like that. These are people that look a little bit weird. You remember when, who did Karl Malone play for at the end of his career?
Lakers.
Lakers. It was weird seeing him in a Lakers jersey, wasn't it? After all that time you it's like seeing your teacher at the grocery store. You're like, you exist outside of that world. You know what I mean? That's how you feel. So these are those kind of Cavs. I'll give you an example. Like these guys, Shaquille O'Neal, Dwayne Wade, and Sean Kemp. These are the kind of guys. Like, all these guys were not known for being Cavaliers primarily, but they did play for the Cavaliers for a hot minute, and it's weird seeing them in a Cavaliers jersey. So, are you guys ready to play Cavs You Forgot Our Cavs?
Okay, let's go.
Okay, number 1, I'm going to give you facts, and you, first one who can tell me who this is, I guess wins.
What do we win?
Just like the respect of your peers.
You get the People's Champion belt for the day. That's how you win.
Number 1, this Cav you might have forgotten as a Cav.
Okay.
Played 16 games as a Cavalier.
Oh my God.
He averaged 9.8 points a game. He was the NBA Rookie of the Year at one point. He was NBA's most valuable player at one point. He was a 3-time NBA All-Star.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
He was traded to the Utah Jazz at the 2018 trade deadline from the Cavs. He is widely considered to be the most athletic point guard in NBA history, but he had a series of injuries that hindered him. And he was a Cavalier. He was amazing. Just say a name.
If I see it in the chat, Polk, I'm going to interrupt.
Go ahead.
And give it. I don't see it yet, but we got it. Nope, we got it.
All right, let's see
Damian
it.
Frederick.
Check it out. Congratulations. You beat this
Who'd you say?
professional
Who?
NBA player.
Take it. Damian Frederick.
That'd be Derrick Rose,
John
everybody.
Canterbury and Cody Clark all.
Oh, I
Yes.
forgot he was
Derrick
even
Rose.
here.
Exactly. That's the point of the game, Brad. You
Yeah.
forgot he was a Cavs, so it works.
He was on that squad where they had everybody. Every has been left. Him,
Yes.
D Wade,
Hey, chat.
Isaiah Thomas.
Impressive chat. If people in the chat can beat this NBA legend and this professional Cleveland sports talker.
Derrick Rose was
And
here.
it's a 30-second delay too.
Yes.
That is
Next-
true. So far, the chat won. G. Bush and Brad, 0.
Zero.
Great. All right,
Zero.
chat. Keep beating these guys. Next one. This guy played 15 games as a Cavalier. He averaged 13.9 points a game. Traded to the Cavs along with a first-round pick, which turned out to be the first overall pick in the 2011 NBA draft for Kyrie Irving. Traded for Jamario Moon and our guest who is not here, Mo Williams. Known for his signature beard.
He wore number 85.
Anybody?
Drew Gooden.
Anybody in the chat?
They're on a 30-second delay, so you got to stall.
No,
Okay?
hey,
30
that's
seconds.
fine.
Drew Gooden played way too many games.
He he bridged that weird little world. We thought it might work out. It didn't. He had a beard.
Beard.
Picture like a former.
Hey, we got it in the chat.
Okay,
This
let's
is
see it.
Benjamin Peruchan.
Congratulations,
and Roberto
Benjamin.
El
Let's see it.
Presidente both got it.
That
Take
would
it.
be Baron Davis.
Oh,
yeah.
He
Weird.
He was the first amnesty too.
He was.
He like yo.
Yeah.
All right, next player.
These guys, I forgot they were even here.
Exactly. That's the name of the game,
We
Brad.
getting smoked right now.
Yes, you are by the chat.
I need to get this.
That's the name of the game.
NBA.
Brad.
He's like, I forgot he
I
was.
didn't even hear.
Okay, next one. Played 26 games for the Cavs. This next one. Averaged 8.4 points.
How many games?
26 games.
Okay.
He was a 2-time NBA champion, 2009 and 2010. He was a 1-time NBA All-Star, 2012. He was the youngest player drafted in NBA history. And he was 7 feet tall. It didn't work out. Again, 2012.
Andrew Bynum.
Andrew Bynum, let's take a look. It was Andrew Bynum.
Hey, I'm coming for you, chat. I'm coming for you.
Did
You better
anyone
get
beat
your
him
mind
in the chat,
together.
Mikey?
Not yet.
Good.
You out
All
of
right,
here.
Not
nice
yet.
job.
G. Bush gets that one.
G.
And 2 for the chat, 1 for G. Bush, and
Zero.
our former NBA player, Brad.
0.
Brad
Zero.
got all these people in his cell phone, don't even know him.
Moving on.
all these people they got their phone numbers.
Our next player, this one's a little trickier. Our next player he played 40 games as a Cavalier. In 2014, he averaged 14.1 points a game. He was a 2-time NBA All-Star. Obviously, all of these people who were All-Stars before they came to the Cavs. Most of these dudes dipped out after this season with the Cavs because they usually came to try and chase a ring with LeBron. For most of them, it didn't work
This is
out.
14.
2014.
Okay.
Traded to the Cavs in exchange for Andrew Bynum and draft picks. Born in the Sudan. The country.
Lou Aldang.
Lou Aldang!
There it is.
The mayor!
We used to call
Coming strong.
We used
There
to
he
call
is.
him Luau Doss because it looks like Mike Doss in the face.
It does a little bit.
A little bit.
Good call.
Luau Doss.
Okay, we got
Yeah.
2-1-1 right now.
Correct.
Chat versus and 1-1 on the panel.
That was a good pool.
Next one. 57 games as a Cavalier.
Now you get in my sweet spot. Keep coming.
4.8 points a game.
Okay.
He was a 4-time All-Star, 1-time NBA champion with Dallas. Joined the Cavs at the age of 36.
The chat already has it, by the way.
Oh, go ahead. Let's see it.
Jason Morris.
Jason Morris.
Nailed it. Sean Marion.
Sean Marion.
Dang. I forgot about the Matrix.
It's the name of the game, you guys. It is the name of the game.
I forgot about Aaron Graves. This is a dude named Aaron Graves that used to look just like him.
3-1-1.
The Matrix.
Shout out to chat. Hey, that was a good one. Jason Morris. That was quick.
Nice job, Jason. Okay, next one. Played 24 games with the Cavs. 7.5 points per game. He was a 3-time All-Star, again, prior to being on the Cavs.
Okay.
He disappeared in the
The
2017.
chat got it. Polk, the chat's on fire here.
Uh-oh.
B-Dog21
Let's check it
nailed
out.
it.
Oh, it's Deron Williams, everybody. Oh, my gosh.
Darren Williams.
Listen, hey, we gotta figure out what's going on with the chat, bro. Y'all
Chat's on fire, bro.
They are. They're hyped up.
Darren Williams.
I'd just like to say it's 4 to 1 to 1.
That was one.
He didn't even get the question out. I was like,
know.
I'm still listening.
And the
They're
chat's
like
on a
Darren
30
Williams.
second
And they're
delay,
on a
too.
delay.
Makes it even more impressive.
Darren Williams was the one that I saw where I was like, I have no recollection of him being on the
Man,
team.
he was here for
That was like a
hottie.
fever dream.
Hot second.
I had no clue that he was on that team. I totally forgot about that. Okay, next one. This guy.
We getting a lot of people that's always at the end of their rope, right?
Yes, we are. That's usually where we're at. After that, they're like, I took some time with my wife and family. I decided I'm going to retire.
Hey, AKA Cam Newton.
Yeah, this did not work out. And we're still trying to sign him because we like his name.
Willie Mack. Shout out to Willie Mack.
This next one was a one-time NBA champion. He played one game with the Cavaliers.
All right, give me some more.
He was Australian as hell.
Fact.
He broke his leg 56 seconds into his...
From Andrew Bogut.
Bogut, the mayor.
Wow, I remember that. We was pumped like we ski masked him from the Golden State
Look at him.
Warriors.
Who wouldn't want all that?
And then put him in a game, and he got kicked in the legs.
Yes, he did. It was over.
It
was over.
You didn't get kicked by no horse, dog. How brittle is your lower body? Like a grown man kicked you in the calf and you broke down.
By the way, just Googling him real quick. Also, fun note, he is he's a conspiracy theorist who is an anti-vaxxer and thinks Pizzagate was real. So, anyways.
Are you serious?
Yes, he is. Andrew Bogut's a mess.
He's back in Australia.
He's in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, down there with all those convicts. That British penal colony. All right. We're almost done, guys. We only got a few more, a couple more. This guy played 15 games.
Conspiracy theorist.
He is. He's a mess. He's just like, vaccines are killing everybody.
Don't it hurt your heart when I just said, man, I used to watch you, man. You really, you one of them dudes now?
I had nothing invested in Andrew Bogut. When I saw that, I'm like, that seems right. Go ahead. Be tall and a lunatic in Australia. Nobody cares. Okay, this next guy. 15 games as a Cavalier.
Wow.
I was excited about this one at the time.
Okay.
He averaged 14.7 points a game. Prior to that, the year before, he averaged 28.9 points per game. The season prior to joining the Cavs.
Okay.
Generously listed at 5'9".
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, G. Bush.
G. Bush.
Did the chat beat him? No.
Hey,
All right.
The chat did not beat him, no.
Hey, bro, that hurt.
It did.
Because
It stung.
Because Kyrie Irving basically told him to trade him.
Yep.
And
That was a brilliant GM move.
he was like, yeah, I'm not playing, and I'm gonna have elective surgery if y'all sign me, if you try to keep me. And we got Isaiah Thomas. Now the year before, Isaiah Thomas killed us.
Insane.
He killed. I'm saying so like, now on that one team, you had him and Derrick Rose, and and they were horrible the first half of the season. They had to break it up. Jay Crowder ain't never came back from that.
No, he hasn't. Nope. And we've never come back from Jay Crowder, I feel like, in a way.
Jay Crowder's still trying to fight LeBron.
Still.
Polk, before you go on the next one, I just want to let you guys know and let the chat know. It's a 30 to 40 second delay between what we see you answer and what you think you're answering live. So you may actually beat us, but I'm only counting what I see in the chat.
Yes,
when
so
these
you
guys
probably
answer.
you might be beating these cats, but there is a delay, just so you know. But congratulations to everyone who's competing. All right, these last ones are a little weird.
Okay.
This one was tough. This is the only one I wouldn't have got, Polk. This one's tough.
Okay. This guy played 52 games for the Cavaliers. He averaged 7.3 points per game. He eventually went on to become a 3-time NBA All-Star. Served as the 55th mayor of Sacramento, California.
Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson from the mayor.
See,
Did you know Kevin Johnson was drafted by the Cavaliers.
Sure did.
He knows Kevin Johnson personally.
Look at that great shot.
KJ.
He's had dinner with Kevin Johnson.
Yeah.
My guy, KJ.
Like, what are you
They
talking
made room for him for Mark Price. They had a log jam at point guard, and they were like, should we have
sure
Kevin
did.
Johnson or Mark Price?
And actually, they both turned out to be good.
And traded Kevin Johnson
To get
for Larry Nance.
Yep.
So not a bad deal for everybody.
And that's
there.
how the Cavs took off with Nance, and Kevin just went down to Phoenix and had a storied career.
Dan
Yes.
Marley, Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
They got Barkley.
KJ was a problem.
Yeah,
out
he-
there.
It's a hot team,
He was
man.
a problem in Phoenix.
And we'll dunk on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll lean on you.
Still feel, I'm glad we got Larry Nance out of that deal, obviously. Couldn't have hurt to have Kevin Johnson backing up Mark Price. Wouldn't that have been fun? But whatever.
crazy.
Real
Okay.
quick, we got 2 left. Anthony, what's the score heading into the final 2?
All right, Brad, you have 3. G. Bush has 2, and Chat is still in the lead with 4.
All right.
Read that backwards again, but Bull's not here.
Just a reminder, none of it matters. Okay. 2 more.
It all
This guy
matters.
played 131 games with the Cavaliers.
Okay.
Averaged 8.6 points. He was a 2-time NBA champion. He was a 4-time NBA All-Star. And a 3-time WNBA champion as a coach.
Bill Laimbeer?
Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah.
Very good, G.
That's
Bush.
right. That's
Nice. A lot of people, it's the best picture I could find.
There
of
you
him.
go, Bill.
There
Hey,
aren't
Polk, we got Mo on, so we're going to run through the last one, then we're going to bring Mo Williams in.
Great,
so let's
great.
run through the
Okay.
last one pretty quickly.
One last one, Mo, I promise, and then we're to you. This is the last one. Bill Laimbeer, weird that he played here. Last one. He played 1 game with the Cavaliers. He had 3 points in his only performance with the Cavs. He was born in Akron, Ohio. His father also played for the Cavaliers. And his brother has the distinction of being
Dale
the
Curry.
only starting
Dale
point
Curry.
guard
Dale
for the
Curry.
only team in the NBA history to blow a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals.
Dale Curry.
Yes, and it was Seth Curry. Seth Curry, go ahead and show it. Played for the Cleveland Cavaliers is the best picture I could find. Played for the Cleveland Cavaliers for 1 game. We had his brother.
I didn't even know that.
I know, isn't that weird? Well, that's why you forgot he was a
at
Cav.
all. At all.
Yeah.
Zero.
So who ends up winning that game there?
At the end, and we'll find a way to do a tiebreak, but Brad and the chat each have 4. G. Bush has 3. We will come back to the tiebreaker after we talk to a former Cavs
Mo
legend,
Gotti.
current Jackson State head coach, Mo Williams. What's up, Coach? How you doing today?
Going on?
Mo
Gotti. Mo Gotti.
That's it.
J State of the building, baby.
In the building, you see the
I
hat.
see it, right? I see it. How they treat you down there, Mo?
I'm at home, man. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, so it's home for me. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, Campy was giving me the rundown yesterday. I was like, I didn't know you was from Jackson, right? So I was like, y'all got good things. It's a good school. People don't know how good a school it is down there. It really
No,
is.
absolutely.
You know, Mo, my father went to HBCU. He went to Central State University here in Ohio. And,
Okay.
you know, Coach Prime was down in Jackson State. You were at Alabama State. Now you're at Jackson State as well. Talk a little bit about, I guess, the battle that you guys are having in trying to build HBCUs and to gather that type of support. I saw you, I think it was either an Instagram clip or something that was on the internet, and you was really impassioned of asking your fans to get out and support, to get out here and support us in our gym while we playing our games. How have you been able to, rally support, and what are some of the obstacles that you do have at an HBCU to getting things to a place where you guys are on the same pecking level or two somewhere compared to like a D1 or D Division I schools?
Well, let me correct you there. We are a Division I school.
Yeah,
So with that being said, it's just a difference, and I think the biggest difference with us right now in other Division I schools is the NIL. We haven't really tackled that space like we should, and we're continuing to do that. We continue to work on that, but for the most part, I think just to answer your question, people always want to talk about the obstacles, right? There's obstacles everywhere you go. I was just different from other schools, but it's so much great things that goes on in our program at this HBCU, and I'm just speaking on Jackson State because I'm here. The culture, for one, right? being able to get guys like myself, because they need the same help that those kids at Alabama need, Mississippi State, Duke, wherever the case may be, to get high-level coaching, get high-level tools from guys that have been there. And I always use the analogy when I'm recruiting guys, and, I recruit guys that can go, to, quote-unquote bigger schools. And I just tell them one thing, hey, take the school out. Don't even put the school on the top of the paper. Put the coaching staff on one side and the coaching staff on the other side, and you tell me from experience and all the things that you go through, how you vet what school you want to go to, and you tell me what coaching staff is better without the school. So I kind of put other things in perspective, but at the same time, when you're recruiting at our level, you want guys that want to be involved and want to be here. Transfer portal is very big, for us, because we do get. I have a kid that transferred from Wyoming. I got a kid that transferred from Texas, Long Beach State, you name it. So, basketball on our level is pretty damn good.
Hey, Mo, let me ask you a question because, before we get around some Cavaliers stuff, let me ask you this, right? Because I've had this conversation with a couple of people that are HBCU people. See, I see the HBCU, they really could crack the code. You go back to women's basketball, Cheney State, and how they were the only HBCU to get to the Final Four, right? When I look at, I'll stay in the SWAC, right? I'll stay in the SWAC.
Mm-hmm.
You got some institutions in the SWAC that could probably take a higher profile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because who think differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that the others think. Do you ever think they could create a league, right? And it may not be just SWAC people. It might be SWAC combined with some other people and saying, okay, we'll take these HBCUs and who have a focus on, because people look at the athletics lead to the academics, because if the more money you can bring in, the more money you avail yourself through TV and things of that nature, you have a product, right? If you could get those same people, Mo, that go to Duke, Ohio State, right, and start to consider that premier thing for the HBCUs, because what separates them is that you go to Ohio State because they got the TV deals, they're going to be seen, this is the deal, right? If you could put that in an HBCU package and create that environment.
Well, let me correct you. So it used to be the TV deal, the exposure. See, the exposure and things like that doesn't really matter anymore because you can be anywhere. And all it takes is a clip. That clip you can be anywhere and you can go viral. The difference now is the NIL space, because I can go to Jackson State. I want to go to Jackson State, but I can go to Ohio State, and whether I play a game, whether I get a minute, all I got to be on the roster, and I'm getting $50,000, $60,000 a year for doing nothing. So I think when you talk about evening out the playing field, that's what everybody says. It ain't about even out the playing field. It's just we don't have the same resources that other schools have. So if a kid that's a top 25 kid in the country, it takes more than Mo Williams being the coach to get that kid on campus. You got to have more things involved. The NIL, I keep speaking NIL, but that's pretty big right now. Because every kid you recruit, the first question they ask is about NIL. What do we have? So that's one thing. But then you go on further with, what's your strength and conditioning program look like? What's your meal plan look like? What's your living arrangements? So all that is different too at Ohio. I'm just using Ohio State as an example than a Jackson State or any other HBCU. So we have a long way to go in that aspect of, facilities and, strength and conditioning, meal, how to eat, all the small things that it takes to be a elite program and bringing in elite athletes. I think we got to get ourselves together in a space where we can basically take care of those elite players. And that's a struggle for us, and that's something that we're building on. It's something that I'm building on here, getting them to understand the small things we need to separate ourselves.
And I can see that, and I agree with you, right? It's the resources, right? And I'm just saying there are some in the HBCU space that have a bigger appetite to do those things, right?
Correct.
And at some point, to me, it appears that at some point in the future, it might not be in your immediate time, there's going to have to be a decision made, right? Because there's a space to grow, and there's a home for people that would maybe like to go to Jackson State, maybe like to go to Howard, right? But they cannot do it because it is they're working against the other stuff, the NIL stuff, the resources, the things that prepare them for. Because you got some people that want to go to the next level, right? And it's going to be more than a clip, right? I gotta need somebody to prepare me to go to the next level. You just don't walk in the next level. Somebody gotta prepare you to go to the next level. And that's where the lag comes in, because everybody does not think alike. Just like in the Big Ten. Northwestern think a certain way, right? Wisconsin think a certain way. Ohio State and Michigan think another way, right? And so you have to figure out what that balance is.
I agree 1,000%. You know, I just think, you know, in our space where we are, you know, we're still trying to win basketball games, right? You know, so we still running the things how we run it, and we still getting good, talented players. With my group, you know, we finished third in our league. You know, in my first year here at Jackson State, got everybody coming back. We should be picked to win the league next year. So we're pretty good. You know, we played, you know, the who's who, and, you know, we, you know, took care of business and won a few games and was close in some games. And you got to realize people don't understand the aspect of my non-conference schedule. Just give you an example. And this is a big difference too. And I'm going to keep using Ohio State because we just brought it up. Ohio State. So non-conference, you get 13 non-conference games. Every team gets 13 games. Out of those 13 non-conference games, Ohio State going to play 8-9 of those games at home. They're going to be, quote unquote, maybe out of those 13 games they play, they may play 3 really tough games, you know, ranked teams or whatever the case may be. And everything else is going to be a Jackson State, and it's going to be a, you know, Toledo. It's going to be those type of programs that's coming to them. They might play 1 road game and 2 neutral site games and everything else at home. Now, the difference with me is we don't have that budget. So with me, I have to go play 13 straight road games. And all of them on the road. So I got to go to Ohio State, and they got to give me $100,000. I got to go to Alabama, they got to give me $100,000. I got to go to Vanderbilt, they got to give me $100,000. I got to go raise $1 million just for our program to operate.
Right. You're right.
That's the difference in Ohio State. They already have that in the budget. They're paying us. They have money to pay us to come play.
Right.
So it's just a battle, and it's just not balanced, but it is what it is.
But Mo, what if you flip that, Mo? What if you became the place where they had to come see you, right? Then they would be like, you want to play me? You're going to pay me. And you're going to play me right here in Jackson. That's where you're going to play me. And I think there's an opportunity for that to occur.
Well, so for example, we just finished our first year of it. So we're going into our second year. So the SWAC and the Pac-12, we did a challenge. So this year was the first year.
Okay.
They took 6 teams. They took 6 teams out of the SWAC, and they took 6 teams out of the Pac-12. And it's a home and home. So the first year you go there, and the first year they'll come to us, then they'll flip-flop the second year, and then the third and fourth year, which we'll be a part of, the rest of the team that didn't participate will do the same thing.
That's beautiful.
So the point I'm making is, think about this. The 3 teams that went to a Pac-12 school lost on an average of 25 points. The 3 teams that came to a SWAC institution and played them, all 3 of those teams lost.
They got cracked.
All 3 of those teams lost to a SWAC school.
Right, got cracked. Crazy. Got cracked.
You know, so with that being said, people look at our record and say, well, they ain't playing no good basketball, but every SWAC school is playing 13 straight road games and getting in the conference playing. Yeah. But that shows you the difference when someone got to come play us at home, you know, or we get someone on a neutral site. Just imagine if we're going into conference play, you know, 11-2, you know, 10-3, then going 18 out of 18 games in the conference, you win 14 of those. And you done won 28, 27 games, you know, 24 games or whatever the case may be. But it never shows that way because it looks like, well, none of those teams, but every team in our conference is playing 13, 12, 13 straight road games. That's tough.
Right.
Mo, I understand college basketball is a confusing disaster right now, obviously, and I don't envy you having to try and negotiate this new world. Let's talk about the NBA. It's a little bit more manageable, and it's obviously something that you're familiar with. Big fan, love what you did for the Cavs. Thank you so much for those memories. Do we have some new memories coming up from the Cavs right now? How do you like the Cavs in the playoffs against the Knicks?
I love it, man. I just like, obviously I'm a basketball guy, and I always pull for the Cavs, obviously. Just looking at just their makeup of their team, I just feel like they have all the right pieces. I feel like they have a good coaching staff. And just watching kind of like clips I see on social media just on how they're interacting after games, before games, and some of the things he say. And then just watching how they perform, throughout a game and sitting in the fourth spot right now. Obviously, you're talking about the Knicks. I'm not too scared of the Knicks. Once we get to that second round, I think it'll be, something to talk about. But I think they should be able to take care of the Knicks. Now, if they don't take care of the Knicks, I feel like, that should be a letdown. But I feel good about their chances.
What's the biggest hindrance on the Cavs right now? What do you think our biggest weakness is? What do you worry about them as far as advancing? What's holding them back?
Experience. Obviously Donovan has it, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong because you guys follow him on the daily. I can't think of anybody on the team that has been far in the playoffs. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're right.
But experience. I just go back to my experience in 2000. What was that year we lost to Orlando? 2008.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was 2000. But that was my first time on that platform. As good as, and that was my all-star year. So I was rolling, I was playing good and things like that. Then the playoffs happened, man, it just get different. And that was my first time in that moment, and you just trying to figure it out. And being someone that had been there, and as I had more playoff moments, I got better and better and better and better at those moments. So I think that's the only thing, because they have what they need. They have length, they have great guard play, and you got great guard play, you're going to be able to win some games with great guard play. But they have long forwards, and obviously they have wings, and they have guys that can get out the floor and run. And on top of that, in the playoff, you got to have guys that can stand face-to-face with someone and be a matchup to them, meaning on the defensive end or offensive end. And you have those guys that can go get you a bucket, and you have guys that can go get you a stop. But like I said, I think for the most part, it's going to be for them is just the experience part of it. And, just for example, like Boston, they was young. They got to that moment. I guarantee you they're going to be way more comfortable this year in this moment, and I just think the experience alone will get them better.
Mo, the first time when you guys was rolling with LeBron, I think the first thing that you were here, y'all had some of the most memorable 66 wins. Y'all started the celebrations on the bench. Y'all was
started that.
They started that, right?
Yep.
So you guys was playing with that energy level, and you end up losing Orlando, and I think everybody felt like the Cavs was the best team in the league. They ran up against Dwight Howard, Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis.
Not to cut you off, but Dwight Howard, that series alone turned into the doggone dream Elijah won.
He was hitting jump hooks. Where did that come from?
We didn't see it no more in his career. Not that level. No. That level. I'm talking about that level.
No, facts.
That level, Dwight Howard. That series alone, if he played like that for 3 years straight, just that level, he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He was hitting free throws. When Rayford Austin was coming down, dumping it to him, he was shimmying. I'm like, where did Dwight Howard get this?
Listen,
like that.
They played out their mind. I'm talking about they played out their mind against us, and you got to give them credit. I didn't have a great series against them. They had at that time they were just loading in and making and Bron kind of settle for jump. But they had a good game plan, but offensively they were just clicking, man. Dwight Howard, he was terrific, but they was good all the way around. Rashard Lewis had a good series against us. Man, Turkoglu had a real good series. They
He
was
couldn't
playing-
miss.
I mean, Ray Austin, I don't know where he came from and had a series like he had. But they deserved it. I mean, they just outplayed us. But Dwight Howard, he was a man-child that series.
He turned the skip on y'all. Skip, I'm like, where Rayford turned into Skip, it was rough. Big Nuggets, you got something?
Yeah, Mo, you played with LeBron twice and against LeBron for almost your entire career. So when you look at the guy you played with the first stint in Cleveland, the second stint in Cleveland, and when he was in Miami in between, what version of LeBron, in your opinion, was peak LeBron? Where was he at his actual best throughout his illustrious career?
Good question.
Man, you know how hard that question is.
That's what I get paid to do.
Oh, man. Woo.
Could be
You talking about
2025 for all we know.
20 years. I mean,
You know, Mo, he still averaged 30, which is crazy.
I know. That's what I'm saying, because you got to understand his maturation of his game. Like, his game, it never really, you can't say, well, he way better here and he wasn't as good. He was good at every phase of his career. But the dynamics of his games has changed. You know, whether now, I mean, he's shooting that pill like I was shooting that pill, you know? So it's like, early on in my career, I mean, he'll make a three, but he wasn't settling for threes. He was really getting to the rack. He was really putting his shoulder down. You know, now, you know, his post game has gotten better. He's always been able to, you know, as far as the IQ part of the game, he's always had that. But just seeing how his game has just gotten better, you know, just shooting the ball for me is something that really sticks out to me, for me being around him a lot, and him just coming down, just pulling and not only making rhythm three, because people get misunderstood when guys kind of make a tough rhythm three or whatever the case may be. I'm just talking about swing, catch and shoot. Like, that's, you got to be talented to be able to catch and shoot and be efficient doing it. And that's usually the Kyle Korvers, you know, that's usually the J.J. Reddicks, you know, but he can be in that role and run out 4 straight. You know, he can get in the mid post and go to work. He can set that fake screen at the top of the key just to get the ISO at the you know, in the mid post and go to work. But just for the most part, I just think his game has just continued to grow and change with the times of how the game has been played. Because when we first came to the NBA, we came in the same year in 2003. It was still a physical league. It was still, you can put your hands on everybody. The scores was, you know, 79 to 82. You know, it was that type of era. Then once they started to ease up on it, scoring started to go up. You couldn't touch guys, and you just saw his game kind of change, and he kind of adapted to that too, and still was successful.
If you had to guess, what year will LeBron play his last professional NBA game? If you had to guess, and reminder, the internet's forever, so this will live forever, whatever you say.
So nobody can play forever. LeBron is 38 because I'm 40. He's 2 years younger than me, so I think he's 38. But year 20, you got Bronny. Bronny probably go to the G League and play for a year. I'm gonna give him 5 more years. 25 years. That's a good mark for him.
That's crazy.
I think
2028, he's stepping down.
So I think he'll have 3 really good years.
And then 2
then I think he'll have
retired years.
Well, not retired years. Then I think he'll have 1 year where he's
got to change the game.
You know, he's gonna be himself, but it's gonna be moments.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think that last year he'll have a good farewell tour.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that'll be a good 5 years. Good, because that'll be he'll still be in a space where he can use who he is for wherever team he is to make them draft Bronny. Mm-hmm. And I think he'll spend a couple years with Bronny, and I think he'll get out of there.
Mo, we talked to Boobie Gibson. We had him on, and I asked him the same question. I was like, when LeBron left the first time, was you in your feelings? Because I know I was hot. I was mad. I was in my feelings. And how did you come back from that, seeing him again and coming full circle and winning the championship and coming back again and Lincoln?
I had to mature, and then I had to look myself in the mirror, because I was, for lack of better words, I ain't never been a sucker, and there was some sucker stuff I did, because thinking back on it as I got older and going through my career, because I was still young in my career, and, I just didn't know how to handle it, and I did handle that wrong because I spoke out on some things, and, me and him had a real close relationship, and I was wrong for that, and I've apologized to him for that. Over the years, but I was just wrong, for voicing my feelings. It's okay to feel a certain way, but I think I voiced it the wrong way. Because at the end of the day, when I look at situation, then I look at him for sure. You make the decision that's best for you, and I thought he made a decision that was best for him that didn't help me, and I got in my feelings, and I understood, later on in my career that. Obviously, people have to make decisions that's best for him. And you look at his career, you look at who he is. He's always made, decisions, calculated decisions, I would say. Yeah. Nothing is just happening. And me, I had to mature, and I had to look myself in the mirror. And I had to understand that, your life goes on. Yeah. And, I handled that wrong.
I'm going to give you a little grace there, though, Mo. He didn't handle it properly either, in fairness. Don't act like that can't.
Well, he's voiced that.
He was young, too, and he was immature at the same time.
So, Mo, let me tell you, Mo, so, that's why you're sitting in the position you're sitting in today, right?
Right,
so,
facts.
I just had this discussion yesterday. My daughter plays for Maryland basketball, right? And so we were having this discussion about the transfer portal with some other people, right? And I said, listen, let me tell you something. As I've gotten older, it's not about, you got to wish these people well, right? It's not for me to sit here and judge them. They're doing what's best for themselves. It's like when you change a job, right? My job now is to wish you well and say good luck to you, right? Now, does it have some impact on me? But I can't be sitting out here. That's why you're sitting there as the head coach of a Division I school here. Because be blessed, bro. We all not getting them opportunities to do that, right?
Absolutely. Say that again.
So it talks about maturation, maturity here, right? So I will tell you this, the big person want to be able to say, I made a mistake here and be able to move on from that. But I would tell you what, you doing the job down there on the level because them kids down there, they need guidance now. This ain't AAU no more. This not AAU no more.
Hey, Mo, last one before we let you go here. But when you were in Minnesota, you had a game where you dropped 52 points, and we got the highlights. Anthony, you could take tag board for one play. Mo, when you woke up that morning, did you know it was going to be different that day?
Absolutely not. This is a true story, guys. So we was in Indiana that day, and it was a back-to-back. So obviously shoot around, you don't have shoot around on back-to-backs. And it was snowing, it was cold. So we get to the gym, for warm-ups. We get in there a couple hours for the game. I don't go out and warm up. This is a true story. I don't go out and warm up at all. I just sit in my locker. I don't know if you guys got dominoes on your phone. But I had the domino app on my phone. I'm just playing dominoes for an hour straight. Just laying down, get stretched. The first time I go out there and shoot a ball was 20 minutes before the game when the team go out and get in the layup line. That was the first time I went out there. It's just one of those days that I didn't have it. And then the game just started. I just was just playing. And all of a sudden, I didn't start off hot. It was just a solid game. I was 6 for 9 from the field at the half with 15 points. And I just came out of halftime and had 33 in the third quarter.
He said it so casually.
and that's a true story. That's a true story. And if you really look at those clips, and I always mess with my kids all the time, my players and my kids, I say, hey, listen, because I brag about this all the time. I say, hey, really go look at them clips and see how many shots in the paint I took. That's tough. When you ain't none of them layups. None of them layups. Not one layup. None. None. And I ain't getting number 5, maybe 4 or 5 free throws in there. So them all jumpers. So for me, that was obviously, man, that was a historic night for myself. People don't realize we was on a 14-game losing streak at the time. I was in Minnesota. And that was a week before the trade deadline. And I had that game, and all of a sudden my agent started calling me and saying,
Business
hey,
card.
the Cavs calling. The Cavs calling. You know, the Clippers want you. The Lakers want you. And then I ended up getting traded to Charlotte like a week later.
Mo, man, I appreciate you for coming on. By the way, that was a very inefficient game in today's standards. I need you to step back a little bit. It's either layups or threes now, Mo.
That's all anybody cares
I
about.
know.
Yeah.
But this the thing. The analytics thing is. I know you guys got to go, but this the problem with the analytics that I have. Because me personally, if you look at my game and you go back to the analytics and look at my shot, like I have a hell of a mid-range game.
Right.
And when you look at statistics, like I'm going to make more mid-range shots and I'm going to make layups with contact and big guys down there. I'm going to make more mid-range shots. So for me, like the analytics don't, I mean, I'm an analytic guy at some point, but at some point it's just, man, that's a good shot, man. You get to the elbow, man, pull up. You just got to make that. You know, that's an easy shot. You know, the analytics just kills.
Mo, we appreciate you. We got to run, man. I thank you. Hopefully we can have you on again. Congratulations
Anytime.
to you and your success at Jackson State. We appreciate you.
Shout out Jackson
Appreciate
State. Thanks,
you guys.
Mo.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you, Mo.
All right, we got 30 seconds, guys. Polk, you got a final take in literally 30 seconds, or you want to save it for overtime?
We'll save that for overtime. It's important.
Overtime.
Yeah, make them earn it. You earn this.
We got a Mike Polk final take and the Browns cruise coming up in overtime.
Is anybody gonna be on that doggone cruise? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know. Brian Hoyer
Director
will.
Steve.
I'll bet Brian Hoyer will.
Brian Hoyer, that is right. He do get to go
He's
to that.
available right now, right? Or is he signed? Doesn't matter.
He's signed. He got money.
He got
Is
money. He
it
was the
for
Raiders.
active-
That's right. He's
Is
on the
it
Raiders.
active players or no active players?
I think it's, I don't know. Even when some of these players were in the league, I don't know how active they were.
We don't. Peace. Well, I tell you what, man.